Tahaad Chipotle sauce. They do put a little bit more into this.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually less.
Could do without the red onions. I like onions. I just don't necessarily want them on
What
this.
would you think the calorie count is on one of these footlongs and the grams of fat?
I'm going to say the calorie count. I pay attention to this kind of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I can't tell how big they are.
Wait, what are you
say it's
counting?
a foot?
I'm counting the number of bags of chips it is there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it is, when it's all said
That's
and
3
done,
bags.
it is 960 calories with 8 grams of fat.
It's not as bad as you think. Well, the grams are 8 grams, 39 grams of fat, but it's only 550 calories.
Oh, that's not that bad. For that many Doritos?
That is per serving, and it did not say how many servings
That's where
were
they get
in
you.
a foot-long Dorito.
How disappointed do you get when you're buying a snack at this convenience store and you're like, oh, it's only 180 calories? Oh, it's 4 servings of 180 calories.
Yeah.
You stop and get like a sweet tea or some other kind of soft drink, and then you look at it. It's like, oh, that's a lot of sugar.
You just got to figure out a way to work it off because it ain't worth looking at. Florida man in his underwear was arrested for allegedly destroying a sales kiosk at Walt Disney World.
Wow.
Boy, he looks stoned as a bat.
Well, you generally don't get in this kind of bad of shape at Disney.
Justin Turner got all his hair cut off.
Justin Turner on dope.
Sean McHugh, 24 years old, of Port Orange, arrested on multiple charges in the early morning hours of New Year's Day. Boy, this is just circling around. McHugh pleaded not guilty. Quote, I have no reason to believe Sean was intoxicated, and he endangered the safety of another person's property, and Sean caused a public disturbance. This, according to the Orange County Sheriff's Department.
Is this not just the changing
I have reason
room?
to believe he was intoxicated.
What, Dunaway?
Is this not just the changing room? I was just trying these clothes on, officer.
Now, McHugh was drunk, causing a scene when Disney security also noticed he was trying to urinate into the bushes on the walkway between Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. That's when McHugh took off his clothes down to his undergarments and broke a $1,000 sales kiosk, according to the sheriff's office.
I've been to Disney, gosh, probably 5 times. Have you ever seen Disney security have to get involved with anything more than don't run or please get down off the wall?
I think it's one of the reasons they don't serve alcohol there. They do it in the Animal Kingdom. They do it at Epcot.
Yeah.
Well, I think they do that, because they don't want drunk guys like this guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, I don't. Did I tell you all the story about last time we were at Disney? Last spring, this couple they pulled out what looked like a tube about like that of sunscreen, and we were just waiting in line.
Because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of NextRoundLive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President. The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at NextRoundLive.com. Call the Next Round now at 205-734-0923. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Monday at the Masters, the Braves get a win, NFL draft month, all that to get to, but we got a ton of basketball to talk about. Alabama in the portal, getting a guard that used to be a 5-star guy, an amazing comeback that ends our bracket challenge and the end of a magical season for the Auburn Tigers. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, the rest of the gang up here as we roll into this show. Before we get into the nitty-gritty of what we saw in the Final Four on Saturday, which America was watching, by the way, 16 million viewers, most since 2017.
Some good games.
Some really good games. That helps.
Yeah.
When they're good games. let's just talk about the bracket challenge ending because our audience is going to be all about that. And the way it ended with that Duke meltdown, it's one of the craziest meltdowns I've ever seen in my life in sports.
I think it's technically the 5th largest blown lead in Final Four history. But I can't remember another meltdown like that on a stage like that. And I don't know about you guys, but until Cooper Flagg, the controversial over the bag call.
Yeah, that was a bad call in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it was. Now, in real time for the couch, it seemed like it was.
Yeah, when you're watching in real life, and then you see, but you're watching it from the same perspective the ref that called it's watching.
Yeah, and so
you see it from the other side, and you're like, ooh, I didn't see
bang,
much.
bang. Yeah, when I saw it again, I was like, not a foul, but I don't necessarily have like a major problem with that. I give him a lot of credit, a 68% free throw shooter going to the line and hitting both of those free throws. But until that foul, I never thought Duke was in jeopardy of losing the game.
I did not either.
They were still up with 6 points with 34 seconds left.
Well, I was sitting there, and I had Houston +5. So I was like, damn, they're going to have to make free throws. So I was pulling for Houston the entire way.
Boy, you feel bad now, don't you?
Until the over the back. I was torn on the whole thing, though, because there's something about watching a guy like Bruce Pearl or Kelvin Sampson that has put so much into the game, and then to have an opportunity to not only play for a national championship, to possibly win one. So I was so torn back and forth on, I wanted Duke to win because of the bracket challenge. But at the same time, I kind of wanted either to be able to pull for Bruce or Kelvin tonight.
Yeah. I was happy for Kelvin Sampson. It's funny. We'd had some friends over. They left at halftime of the second game, and I was getting kind of sleepy. I'm old, man. That's a late game for me. And I was still down in the basement, and Jennifer's like, hey, I'm going to go into bed. I said, I'm about to come to. This game's over. And she goes, what's the score? I said, Duke's up 9. They're not going to lose this. And this was with, I don't know, 8 minutes to go.
I was over at a friend's house, and I kept saying, they're like, they got it to 6. I said, I just watched this game in Newark. Alabama 3 times got it to 6 in the second half, and then Duke would go to 9, 10, 11, 12.
So something said, it's the Final Four, man. Just sit here and watch the end of it. And if it ever got to double digits, I was going to bed. And to watch that meltdown I didn't realize in real time that Duke only made 1 field goal in the last 10:30. I don't know if y'all realized that. I knew they went cold, but I didn't know it was 10:30.
I did realize it, and I was about to bring that up.
Kept popping up. They haven't had a field goal since.
Early in the game, I was like, and I haven't put a wager in a long time, but I'm sitting there thinking to myself, first of all, how did I give out Houston +5?
Yep.
And how do I not have a lot of money on Duke? Because this Houston team is not going to be able to score against this Duke defense.
I know. You watch the first half, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, when they got to a certain number, I was like, I think it was 14. They're up 14. I said, I don't know if Houston will score 14 more points the rest of the game.
I mean, here's the thing, though. When you play a Kelvin Sampson team, you've signed up for 40 minutes.
That's right.
They're not going to stop.
Yeah, they're not going to clock out early.
Yeah, they do not clock out early, and they play defense until the horn sounds, and sometimes a little beyond
after the free throws, where they took the lead, though, and then Shire calls a timeout with 17 left, I thought Cooper Flagg got a good look from 12.
Yeah, he really did.
And I think he makes that shot 75% of the time.
Yeah, you would have taken that shot 100%.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, though, when they were talking to him, I was like, okay, this kid's never looked like a kid.
Who, Flagg?
But right now, it's got to be all on him because even out of the timeout, Shire was talking to him, and you knew he was going to be the guy that taking the shot, or he's going to be one of the great decoys in sports history. And I was when I saw that conversation, I was sitting there going, okay, this kid from small town Maine, he's a true freshman, 17 seconds down 1 at the Final Four. I mean, this is what he signs up for, but this is when you realize, this kid was just in high school last year, and he's about to have the weight of the Duke program on his back for this one shot, and he came up just a tad short.
Yeah, and you got to give him the shot. Knipple would be the other guy, and I kind of jinxed this last week saying, I think it really helped when Flagg went out against Georgia Tech in the ACC tournament because I think it showed Duke how to get everyone involved without Flagg. And watching on Saturday night, it really seemed like they were just watching Flagg and Knipple. Knipple had 16. No other Duke player had double figures.
Yeah, the problem with you want Flagg taking the shot, but there's a good chance we only get one look here because Houston's such an aggressive rebounding team. That's why, a lot of times, you got a shot, maybe a follow there. You're probably not going to get a follow against Houston. Those guys are so good at crashing the boards.
That is absolutely. That game was the Alabama Duke game for so long until the last 8 minutes, where Houston would get it close, and Duke would just put it back out. Just the timeline, and then we'll get to a reaction to what we saw with Auburn and Florida and set the tone for tonight's game. But
real quick, back to the bracket challenge. I am glad. It was going to be so weird that if you and I were watching tonight where you've got Florida to win the national championship, I've got Duke. Brown doesn't even have a team playing in the game, and he's already sitting at home clear and free.
Yeah.
So it does make a lot more sense that I'm already out of this thing.
Well, it was.
I'm glad you rationalized it that way.
Well, I mean, it was a sudden ending for me because 8 minutes to go, 8:03, Duke's up 14. 2:06 to go in the game, Duke's up 9. 1:15 to go in the game, Duke's up 7. 34 seconds to go, Duke's up 6.
Yeah, and lose by 3. They're up 6 and lost by 3.
That's right. And then boom, it's over with. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't lose I'm safe now in the bracket challenge. It went like that. I mean, I didn't have time to like sit and enjoy it. It just went.
Well,
boom,
boom,
boom.
I never processed Houston was winning the game until again the foul with 19 seconds
when
left.
they got the still on the press, the kid backs out for the 3. You just felt like that was going down the way the game was going. And then even when they got the dunk follow, I'm still like, Duke's still got a 1-point lead. Houston's going to have to foul here.
They still have a 1-point lead.
Still, I mean, it has gone as badly as it could possibly go for them. They've still got a 1-point lead.
It really was Tyrese Proctor missing the front end of the 1-and-1 with 20 seconds left, up a point that not only led to the Cooper Flag foul, but then the 1-and-1. I mean, that completely flipped. I mean, if Tyrese Proctor hits his shots or his free throws, game's over.
Listen, it's not kick 6 because that game was tied. Alabama was taking a shot to win it, and you end up losing it. It's pretty bad, though. But that's one of the great meltdowns of sports history. We'll come back to that later on.
Can you imagine if Shire never wins another one?
Oh, my gosh.
And that could be – and I know people think this is crazy, but, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. The potential NIL deals that Cooper Flag could get, the potential – he's probably already got a shoe deal, but like lifetime generational money that he could go on and sign to make sure that he's secure. But that's the kind of game that might send a guy back for a second year.
We'll talk about Cooper's legacy and other stuff.
I doubt it.
Coming up in the show that's being brought to you today by our friends at the Lake Fest. Brownie, that's rolling back around a little bit later on this month. A great time, great family fun.
Yeah, actually coming up in May, Lake Fest, May 9 through 11, Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. It's the 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show presented by Am First. It is absolutely free to the public. It is Alabama's biggest in-water boat show. 80 boats and vehicles on display, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, live music all weekend, tons of giveaways, fireworks Friday that honors our great veterans, Mermaids and Mateys Parade on Saturday, free mimosas for Mama on Sunday, LoganMartinLakeFest.com for more information. And for the first time, by the way, in LakeFest history, AmFirst is offering 0.5% off interest rates. That could save you $100 a month and up to $12,000 over the life of the loan. LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
In the first game of the night, it was Florida ending Auburn's season 79-73. We'll start it off just letting Todd Golden here explain to you the way he saw the game and how his Gators ended up on top of the nation's #1 overall seed, Auburn.
We were able to turn up our pressure a little bit defensively. I thought we got them on their heels offensively. We started, just guarding more physically in the paint and making it harder for them to put us in the basket. Got some clean rebounds out in transition, and they controlled the game in the first half. We stuck around and we were hanging in, but we kind of felt like we were getting knocked around a little bit. But we controlled the game in the second half, and I thought after the first 2 minutes of the second half we did that consistently. And it was all 3 facets: defending, rebound, and take care of the ball, which led to that run and that victory. Yeah,
that run was a 9-0, 11-2 run there that got Florida back into the game, and the Gators win it. We'll hear from Johni Broome about his health early on, but he had such a dominant first half, and he was basically shut down in the second half. Florida manned up in the second half.
Well, I was shocked they kept, and you heard it on the broadcast, they continued to go one-on-one with Broome in the first half, and Broome was dominating in the paint, and then they made the adjustment in the second half, and more importantly, there is nothing you can do when an absolute superstar takes over a game. And I know Bruce Pearl was just baffled because he was like, we couldn't do anything with him. But Walter Clayton was that good. And he really is starting to look more and more like Steph Curry. I don't know if he's ever going to be able to hit threes at a level, because I think Walter Clayton for his career is a little over 38%. Steph was 41% at Davidson. Now you look at the competition they were going against.
True.
But Walter Clayton gets better and better, and that guy can close it.
Yep.
They weren't really easy shots that he was making either.
No.
Well, just like against Texas Tech.
Yeah, I mean, he's clearly the best player, best collegiate player on the planet right now. With all due respect to those seasons Broom and Flagg have had, the best player on the planet right now collegiately is Walter Clayton Jr.
And truthfully, I've thought that since I saw him at Neville Arena when he went off down there.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we're not talking enough about this guy.
Yeah, well, or this team. I mean, it's like this team was kind of a late bloomer. Walter Clayton's kind of a late bloomer. He's gotten better every year from Iona to Florida. And, I mean, he's just playing elite level basketball right now.
You know, what's crazy is the Rutgers guards, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey, will go before Clayton. But watching this, like, Flagg would have to go 1 overall. I mean, Flagg is going to be incredible. But, I mean, I would take a hard look at Walter Clayton
What's
at
his
number
true
2.
size? I mean, what's his size?
Well, I don't know. They list him at 6'3". I would say he's more probably 6'1.5", 6'2", because Steph Curry's a legit 6'3".
Yeah, Steph Curry's taller than you think,
Yeah.
which tells you a lot about the size of the NBA when you watch the NBA.
Oh, I've always said that, Brown, that when you watch it on television, it's like, and you watch the college game, they look the same because of the TV and all of that. But when you go in person and you see the smallest guy on the floor, how tall they are, like Steph Curry looks like a minor.
He does.
When you watch an NBA game. And then you go and watch Steph Curry in person, you're like,
my gosh, that guy's 6'3".
my God, that guy's 5 inches taller than I am. Yeah, he's a small guy on television.
I remember telling, being at a game, watching Steph Curry live and saying, I'm the same height. Oh, my God, he looks so little.
He does.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, the one thing that Clayton's got that Steph Curry's got, his ability to create any shot he wants. But it would help if he's 6'3", legitimately.
Just so you didn't
But
get
he's built a little better than Steph Curry.
he's thicker.
He's more of a DB.
Yeah,
he can take
almost a Darren Williams. Do you remember the kid out of Illinois that played at Utah for a long time?
Yeah.
But look, this guy will back to it. I would take him second overall. I've seen enough. I really have.
So how hurt was Janai Broom? What was the impact of that? He looked fatigued throughout the game, even in the first half when he was having a good run. Here's Janai after the contest.
I know coming into this game, you said that your ankle felt totally fine. In the second half, it looked like it was kind of getting to you a bit, and you were limping a bit. Can you kind of walk us through, what you were playing through and kind of, the heart that took to push through that?
My ankle was fine.
For Janai, I'd ask you the same question about the elbow. That was a question coming in. It looked at times like maybe it was bothering you, but you seem to still be able to do just about everything. Also, the second part is, what did they do defensively to deny you shots in the second half?
I mean, my elbow felt fine going into the game. Obviously, here and there it would bother me a little bit, but, nothing that I couldn't play with. I feel like we got the looks that we wanted to get. I wasn't able to capitalize and finish them.
I get the feel he's trying not to make it an excuse. I think you could watch the game and tell it was a little worse than I could, I'm fine. I could play through it. I mean, he was flexing it a lot. He was bent over a lot. I mean, I think you could tell Florida had worked on it a little bit too. I mean, I'm not saying Florida did anything illegal. Florida was perfectly within the rules doing what they did, but they were physical with him, knowing if we hit that elbow he's going to feel it.
They weren't that physical with him in the first half.
No, it was the second half.
I mean, Auburn was throwing Florida around the court in the first half. They were the most physical team, and then Florida stepped up in the second half. I thought it was as much him running up and down the court, just like how if you take a week off your workouts, LT, you're the one that works out on the desk. If you don't work out for a week, that first workout back is you catching your breath a little bit more.
Cardio, you lose it quick.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. He didn't practice. They didn't practice on Monday. He didn't practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. Got out worked a little bit Thursday. He didn't look like he was at game speed. Like he was lugging that body up and down the court a little bit at times.
Well, you knew Todd Golden was going to make some adjustments. I didn't realize he would only go 3 for 3 points after the half. But when Auburn was up 8, and I'm sure you guys saw the graphic, 25-0 this year when they led by 6 or more at half. And much like the Duke game, look, as good as Walter Clayton is, I kind of thought the Auburn game was over.
Yeah. I felt, what was it, 46-38? They were down 10, 48-38 at Neville. They are up 8 in this situation. It was all going their way, and their outside shooting, other than Chad Baker-Mazara, still hadn't gotten hot yet. There was no Pettiford. Miles Kelly ended up hitting a couple. Pettiford only had 7. The guards never really got going in this game.
Oh, if I would have told you that Alex Condon only had 1 point,
unbelievable,
was 0 of 5, you would have felt pretty good about that game if you're an Auburn Tiger.
You would have. To me,
I didn't realize Elijah Martin was going to be that good.
Yeah. Well, and I was about to bring him up. Auburn did eventually take the lead back, but it just felt like a turning point in the game. I had to pull the time up here, 9:54 when he made that dunk.
Yeah.
When Elijah Martin made that dunk, it just felt like
that was off a turnover, Brown.
It was off a turnover, and it was on 2 Auburn guys. It was, as thunderous a dunk as you could see, Lance, and it just felt like that was the shift right there. Now, again, Auburn took the lead back, so you can't say it ended the game.
Now I get how Florida Atlantic was in a Final Four. Elijah Martin, Vlad Golden, who you saw with Michigan, Janelle Davis, who you saw with Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these guys, and that seems like forever ago.
Yeah. By the way, Dusty May's doing it again in the portal right now. More on that later in the show. Cut 2. Turnovers, Brown, that was off that massive dunk, posterizing 2 Auburn Tigers, was off of 1 turnover. Auburn only had 2 in the first half. They had 12 in the second half. This is a team that averages right at 9 a game, 8 to 9 a game. And Auburn, when they're at their best, less than 9, they rarely turn it over 14 times, 12 in 1 half. Here's Bruce Pearl after the game on the turnovers and Walter Clayton Jr.
Well, he's a great player, and he can go both ways. He can make tough shots. About the only thing that I probably should have done more would be trap the ball out of his hands a little bit. Believe it or not, that was part of our game plan, but we just didn't execute it. Just sort of, I guess sort of you say all things are kind of equal, and Clayton was the difference. I mean, he was just flat out the difference because we couldn't contain him down that end, but. Again, I take responsibility for 12 turnovers in the second half. It's just impossible to either explain or to think that you can win, turn the ball over a little bit. We got a little out of sorts offensively, and guys just did not execute offensively what our game plan was like they did in the first half.
Well, Florida was just as sloppy with the basketball in the second half. I mean, it was just a turnover fest. I mean, again, incredible game, 15 lead changes, 10 ties. But if you're Bruce, and the closest I've ever come to this is just a fan of, like, when you leave a Super Bowl, watching your team just lose, you think to yourself, are you ever going to see this again?
Yeah.
Like, poor Brown hasn't seen it. I mean, his balls hadn't dropped when he saw the Dolphins play in their last Super Bowl.
That is correct.
Yeah, and just watching Bruce there when this thing was coming apart, like, is he ever going to get another opportunity? If you're an Auburn fan, I know it's got to hurt because you're so close against Virginia. So close, but against Florida. But these are the only 2 opportunities you've had in a Final Four. You just don't know if it's ever going to happen again, and especially for a guy like Bruce, who's 65 years old.
I mean, if you had a lot of this roster coming back next year, I think you'd feel better about it. But knowing that you're going to have to rebuild a little bit and knowing how hard it is to get to one of these things.
Rebuild a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk about the rebuilds coming up. A little bit more of the emotions of this game after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at Hemp Hill. They bring you the lock every day, lanceslock.com. You'll have some side or total on tonight's national championship game.
Yeah, probably some player props, some different things. Ended up splitting. We've gotten red hot in baseball, though. Baseball, we've been crushing the last couple of weeks, but we ended up splitting on Saturday. We did have Houston plus the points. We had Auburn plus the points. We will have your side, maybe the total, still working on that, working on its player props. It is always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Did have a great story from Hemp Hill over the weekend. I'll relay it later in the show.
Okay.
But whether you experience any plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. This was Jack's buddy Ryan, his father, calling about the experience he had with Hemp Hill on Friday. 205-229-2090. For more information, hard to stop a train, go to hemphillservices.com.
And our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. Saturday is just one of those good days for me. I got up early. We had an 8:39 tee time. I had 2 huge sausage biscuits there, protein bar in the middle of my round, a couple of Bud Lights on the back nine, which I needed after it started to fall apart. Then I had I did a brown at lunch. We went to, had a nice Mexican lunch because I was watching Little T's coverage from San Antonio and all the Tex-Mex and margaritas. So I went post-round fajitas there. The sizzling plate came out. Then I had a nice snack for dinner during the game, and then had late night Conecuh sausage dogs.
Oh, my gosh.
That was my Saturday there. And I only gained 1.5 pounds over the weekend, thanks to our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. aplanforme.com. No sign-up fees, no contract, and the consultation is free with Leslie and her board-certified team. Go check out Way to Wellness, jumpstart your weight loss, and then maintain it, which is I enjoy doing right there. It's Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. So now the emotions of it ending so quickly, because Auburn fans were in San Antonio. Their crowd was bigger than Florida's crowd. The witnesses showed up. The Tiger Walk was amazing video of Bruce walking out of the hotel, and just the Auburn fans lining the River Walk there in San Antonio. Everybody's there. I need cut number 5, Tyler, if you will, for me. And then it ends. It ends, and it happens so quickly. It always does. 79-73, Dylan Cardwell, who's played more games in that Auburn jersey than anybody else, as you see the emotion of them walking off, puts into perspective of maybe what Auburn left on the table after this historic season, as you see the sadness as it comes suddenly to the end to Florida.
It's bittersweet to end it this way, knowing that we left the national championship on the table, but being at Auburn has been the best 5 years of my life, and I couldn't have chosen a greater university to have loved me back, and just watch me grow up from 18 to 23, and I am the man I am because God let me come to Auburn, and man, the thing I'll take away most is just being an Auburn man, but just being a teammate, being a player for Bruce Pearl, but also being in the locker room. We're the best locker room in the country. I love these guys, and I cherish every single moment, every single memory we made. And that's my prayer the whole year, just Lord, to prolong our season. We just had so many great memories on and off the court. This is the funniest team I've ever been on, but the most loving and caring and thoughtful team I've ever been on. And I'll forever remember this team, and I hope we can stay in touch for the rest of our lives.
Look, he's always the biggest player on the court. Yeah. So he can play over in Europe, and he can make some money, and he can see the world, and that's what I would advise him to do. But after that, this guy could be an ambassador for Auburn University.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he is that respected. I think he's got a little wit to him. I think he carries himself well. I just think if I could have him involved with that program, I would.
Seems to have a great attitude. I mean, look, you saw two sides of the spectrum. Broom was obviously extremely emotional there. Cardwell seemed like, it just seemed like to have, and I'm not saying one perspective is right over the other. I'm just saying they were different perspectives. He seemed to have man, it was an amazing ride. Yeah. I never dreamt that my ride would end in the Final Four. I wish it had ended with holding up the trophy, but it didn't. And that's just it's a different perspective. But I do appreciate his perspective there, to be able that quick after that difficult a loss, to be able to look back on it and realize everything you've done over 5 years culminated in that. That's a pretty cool perspective.
So this team, and like I said, after the Alabama season ended, blessed to have covered Mark Sears and Grant Nelson and that team for 2 years, and that included a Final Four run. Blessed to get a chance to cover this Auburn team this year. And they were a laid-back, full of swagger, full of personality team. You don't find many teams you cover to have that much personality like this team. And they were full of it, with a lot of characters and a lot of great basketball players. What's their legacy? That's what becomes so hard. They're SEC champions in the regular season, right? That's enough. You hang a banner for this team. They were the number 1 overall seed. How do you remember this team?
Well, I think for basketball, and I don't know if you guys would agree with this, I think more get identified by one guy, and I think it's going to be more Janai's legacy and how we remember that. Because, you even go back. I mean, what do you guys remember most about the Final Four, the first run?
That it was their first Final Four team ever, and that team is always going to be remembered a little bit differently because it was the first ever, right? And while you had a star player on that team, it was not to the. He was really, really good, but it just didn't feel like the same thing as Broome, right? It felt like more of a collection.
Well, and you lost him early in the tournament.
You did. But you're not in that tournament.
Yeah,
without,
but I do
you're
think
not a onesie without
we're
him.
going to kind of identify this team. It's not going to be about Chad Baker-Mazara. It's not going to be about Miles Kelly or Denver Jones or Dylan Cardwell. Ultimately, it could be a little bit more about Pettiford if he's that good at the next level, or if he does something more special at Auburn, if he stays around for a couple of years. But I think we are going to talk about Johni Broome, and how is his legacy going to be remembered? I mean, with Charles Barkley and Chuck Person. I think he is, and I think you can make the argument he is, in uniform, the greatest Auburn player of all time.
I think he's the most accomplished. Yeah, he's the most accomplished Auburn player of all time.
Isn't it ironic? And I may be misusing this like Alanis Morissette does. That Johni Broome had he had 3 points, 3 turnovers in the second half. Isn't it ironic that his last half, and he may be the most celebrated Auburn player of all time, is a lot like Mark Sears, who may be the most celebrated Alabama player of all time, and he was 2 of 12 in his final game shooting.
And, I don't think we'll really remember that. I mean, maybe.
I hope it's not an asterisk or footnote. I don't think we should remember either one of them that way. Because Johni
still had a hell of a game. He had 15. I mean, the problem is he only had 3 in the second half.
Yeah.
There were times he was almost a liability in the second half.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I hate to say that about him. It was a great career, but, I mean, you watched it in Florida. I think Florida knew he was a bit of a liability. I'm not that just sounds bad. I probably shouldn't have said it, but, I mean, I was watching that game thinking,
are they better with Chaney in there?
Are they better with Chaney Johnson in there? And you can't. I mean, it's so hard to pull Broome and put Chaney Johnson in that situation. I don't know that any coach could. Did you?
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, watching that game, I just wondered, is it a better team with Chaney Johnson in there right now?
Yeah.
And
just the way Florida was playing it, and if it would freed something else up.
Yeah.
Because if he's out there, he's Johni Broome. I want him to touch the ball.
I know.
Yeah. And I even tweeted it. I was like, they got to go through Broome a little bit more here. Really, they didn't.
But, other guys didn't show up. I go back to Flagg and Knippel, and the other Duke players didn't show up, and that's exactly what happened to Auburn because Chad Baker played a hell of a game.
Yep.
Yeah, that was maybe his signature game.
It may have been, but then who else showed up? Because to Lance's point, anytime Broome has been banged up this year, been a little bit down, some Auburn guy has gone off.
Yeah. If you just get a B version of Pettiford, you win this game.
Yeah. He has 7.
And you liked his matchup, I think, Saturday.
Oh, I did, man. Yeah. I thought Pettiford was going to come off. I thought he was going to play close to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I thought he would score close to 20 points.
They got him in the game at the 17-minute mark. 3 minutes in, they got him and Chaney Johnson into the game, and I thought, okay, we're about to see Pettiford the rest of the way.
Nope.
And he never got into a flow.
Yeah, played 23 minutes, 1 of 6 from the floor, 0 of 5 behind the arc. He was off.
Yep. He was, and then I know you thought Miles Kelly might break out.
There was a moment there he hit 2 threes.
I know, and then did nothing.
And then he did nothing.
Denver Jones just was not. I mean, there was not another guy. You had to have another guy if Broome is going to have that kind of second half. And Chad Baker-Mazara was just about it.
They pointed this out. By the way, Bill Rafferty, to still do what he does.
You think he's still really good?
I still think he's really good.
I don't think he's lost his fastball.
And he's 85 years old, and I had to pull it over the weekend just to see how old he is.
85, huh?
I just remember he's like Morgan Freeman. I remember watching, on the off nights when Vitale wasn't on the broadcast and Onions was on the broadcast. Yeah. He was old as hell back then. Yeah. That was 40 years ago.
I know.
And look, 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds look different now than they looked in the 80s and 90s, but Rafferty has been the same guy nonstop.
I did have to explain to some people what lingerie on the deck meant.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's been saying that one a long time.
If I would have told you guys, if I went back to 1985 on one of these big Mondays and said that guy is going to be doing a national championship game in 40 years.
In 2025?
I'd have been like, dude, he is dead. He is dust.
Yeah. Did he get there in his flying car?
I know.
So we reversed aging?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I was going to bring up that I think it was him that continued to bring up in the second half. Auburn looks really, really tired. They look really tired.
They did, LT. They did. They didn't in the first half. They did in the second half. They got hit in the mouth, and they didn't have just didn't have it.
Well, you limit your benches so much once you get to this point.
You do. So what are we, 46-38 at the half, right?
Yeah.
46-38 at the half.
Up 8.
And before you get to the first media timeout, Florida's already tied it.
Yeah.
Like you have built that lead. You can't even get to the first media timeout in the second half. and you've already lost the lead. I mean, I think if you had gone in the Florida locker room and told Todd Golden you could be tied before the first media timeout, he walks right out of the locker room. He said, I don't need to tell these guys anything, right? If I can erase that lead that quickly, and that's what they did, and it just felt like Auburn was climbing uphill from that point on.
My man TG has got a potty mouth.
Oh, Golden, when they showed him, he'll let those refs know it.
Well, I mean, Florida adjusted to the way the game was being officiated in the second half.
Dude, he is that guy. You're talking about a guy that can coach. Oh, my gosh.
Well, a lot of criticism about the officiating in the chat room.
Well, I will tell you that I thought it was benefiting Auburn early on because they were allowing you to just rake down on like Walter Clayton's arms.
I loved how the game was called, honestly.
At one point, I said, I don't know what you'd have to do to get a foul called in this game. They're going to let them play.
We still ended up having 53 free throws, which is kind of surprising watching on how they let so much go.
But when you've got two hands on the ball as an offensive player, and you're allowed, and Auburn did this a couple times in the first half, to just rake across their arms and knock the ball loose for a turnover. And that some of it, Golden was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And our players getting knocked down. Well, then Florida started doing it to Auburn too. And I don't know how you can play basketball when if I'm holding the basketball, you can just knock my arms off the ball. They let them go, and Florida adjusted to it.
Yeah, there were some bad calls on Florida's side, though.
Oh, no, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, both ways. I
mean, to not have that the hold call on the inbound, the foul when Houck had went up for the dunk. I mean, there were a couple of glaring omissions.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was more, hey, we're going to swallow the whistle. We're going to let them play.
Yep.
Or at least that setup doesn't create a complicated replay review.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Yep. I know.
Oh, jeez.
Why did we have to make that automated?
So ridiculous. I mean, this big arm comes up. It's got the weights on the back of it.
Can we just do it manually real quick? It'll be faster. All right. That's our opening segment. Ron Slay joins us from San Antonio coming up at 10 o'clock. Hour number 2, 10 Central, 11 Eastern. Slay will be with us from the Alamo City coming up. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them is our friends at MyBookie, mybookie.ag, where the point spread for tonight's national championship game, Brownie, is this close. It's close.
It's telling us we're going to have a good game. MyBookie.ag, code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. That's where you go to sign up to play tonight's game. You want to play some Masters this week, you can do that right there at MyBookie.ag, Major League Baseball, all of it. MyBookie.ag, code next round is going to get you that sign-on bonus, which is a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000. And we'll also throw in a $10 casino chip when you sign up at mybookie.ag and use code NEXTROUND. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND. Mybookie.ag, code next round.
Hey, you've been watching a ton of hoops. Wife or girlfriend, give her the gift of relaxation from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. Very simple. You can buy the gift cards 24/7 online. You can stop into the Summit shopping centers, go see Stuart and that great staff. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. But you can also buy that gift card 24/7 online at birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Let her choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Again, you can order that special person gift online 24/7, birmingham.woodhousespas.com, or just head by the Summit shopping centers and pick it up right there and tell them the next round sent you.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles, The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with mybookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden, will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the next round. We are 138 days from the college football season. That is what is amazing about what Bruce Pearl and Nate Oates have done to us basketball-wise is here that we get this deep into the calendar before we start. I think it's Bobby from Homewood who calls it our list shows. When we start doing our list shows.
I enjoy list shows. I don't care what Bobby said.
Yeah. So those start soon. But that's a testament to what basketball has become. We'll talk the rebuild and stuff for both those programs in just a second. But the show is being brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+.
Alabama bathroommodels.com. Boy, I tell you what, that was a turnover right there. I was like over in the second half. Turnover number 13
Alabama.
there. Alabama. It sounded like I've been drinking over here already this morning. AlabamaBathroomModels.com. That is the website for A+, and my guy Brad Bell. Scott is showing you some before and after photos of the master bath in the Brown house. When it came time to do that, my wife scoured the internet looking for the best person for the job. She talked to certain contractors, people that had used various contractors, read reviews, and Brad Bell was the guy she picked. I'm glad she did. When Brad came out and bid our job, he encouraged us. He's like, hey, check into one of those one-day bathroom models. You see those on TV all the time? He goes, get one of them to do a quote for you. He said, and keep in mind, they're going to do it one day, so they're just going to slap in a shower over an existing shower. It's disgusting. And he said, I beat their quotes all the time. He was right. I am glad we hired Brad. You will be as well. He specializes in master bath kitchen and master bedroom closet remodels. That's his specialty. Not all he does, but it's his specialty. AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or here's Brad's number, 205-422-1758. 205-422-1758 or AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
All right. For Alabama, they get another portal as Nate Oates and Preston Murphy stay busy in the portal on their rebuild. They get a former five-star guard, Jalil Bethea, from Miami, 6'5" freshman. One thing you notice about Nate Oates is he's getting a couple of bigger guards because the length challenged his style of play. So Bethea is a 6'5" guy. They got the big guy from Florida State, Taylor Bowl, and the big guy from Bucknell, Noah Williamson. 3 freshmen coming in, and they got recommitments from Latrell Wrightsell, Aiden Holloway, Houston Millett, and Aiden Sherrill. Waiting on decisions from LeBaron Philon, who we expect to stay in the NBA draft, Darian Reed, and Jaron Stevenson, who will have portal opportunities and NBA opportunities.
Those are big names, and Philon is the big one that everybody is waiting to see. I think it's 50-50.
On Philon?
Yeah.
If he's projected in the first round, I don't understand how you don't go. I know you guys think you can play your way either further up the list.
I do want to see what the true size on Philon is as well. But the nucleus, a good part of this roster already seems in place. Yeah. Which is good news for Alabama fans.
Yeah, I think based on what you just said right there are 10 guys that you've got, right? And then there are the 3 that you're waiting to hear, what they're going to do with Philon, Reed, and Stevenson. If you get those 3 back, that's a roster. That's your 13. That's your 13. So you go to war with those guys. If you lose 1 or 2, then it does become interesting. What do you do in the portal? Because a lot of the portal work has already been done by all these schools. And, I've got to think Oates has a pretty good feel on what those 3 guys are going to do.
That's what I was going to say, Brown. I would watch if you see, because there's still some portal guys out there.
That's right.
If you see Alabama maybe ink another guy.
Well, one of those guys is out.
One of those guys, you see him ink another 2 guys, and both those guys may be out or have to have some tough conversations down the stretch with somebody. But it's they've been working hard on the portal since they got bounced from the Elite Eight.
When they got Taylor Bowen from Florida State, who's 6'10", 41% three-point shooter, that was the first thing I thought. It's what you said. It was, Nate Oates watched that Duke game and knows I got to get taller. I got to get taller with my shooters. I got to get taller across the board. So he's added height, and I don't know. It's an interesting roster. I don't think there's a huge drop off, if any drop off at all, from this year's roster to that, depending on what happens with those last 3 guys.
Ooh,
just to lose Sears is
you lose Sears
and Grant Nelson. I can't sit here and tell you there won't be a drop off definitively. I hope not, but I can't tell you.
I think if Sherrill and Philon come back, I think both are going to be. They have so much potential that both of those guys could have All-American-like seasons.
Yeah, Aiden Sherrill was a 3-2 guy, but his role is going to be much bigger this year. Millett, when he was in there,
he shot
lights
fill it up.
Out. Yeah, and Wrightsell was probably the best shooter, and never got a chance to see him. Diabate into the portal. I can't remember if that happened Friday when we were on the air or not, but St. John's is a likely place for him.
Such a good fit for him.
He is getting so many big offers. And then there's Auburn on the rebuild. And if you can give me cut number 13, this is Tahaad Pettiford yesterday. So Auburn comes back, they land, and they go straight to Neville Arena where there's some gathering of students and local fans. And they all get a chance to step up to the microphone. And here's what Tahaad Pettiford told the Auburn gathering at Neville, and then we'll sort of dissect it afterwards.
Of course, we fell short, but I'm nothing else but happy with everything that we've done this year. And I hope to come back next year and run it back again.
That from the E2C network there. E2C on social media for everything Auburn, they say.
I hope to come back.
I hope became. Yeah. Everyone took that instantly, including me to start with. I was like, because the way Broom reacted, I was like, okay, they knew he was going to come back. And then he did it, and the Broom reacted, and I was like, Pettiford just announced he's coming back, and I went back to what Bruce said when he accidentally called him 5'11".
I don't know if it's
and
accidental.
I was like, this is Pettiford.
Yeah.
This is Pettiford announcing he's coming back. And then Little T was telling me that Pettiford's been, on social media saying, hey, don't misquote me. I hope to come back.
So he's saying, if you correct me if I'm wrong here. Okay?
I'm just going by what Little T said.
So is Little T saying to you that if you're trying to say that was him announcing he's coming back, he's saying, I did not say that. I said I hope to come back.
He's still evaluating it.
Okay.
Still evaluating.
Well, because even if you don't intend to transfer, if your agent is in your ear saying, listen, Auburn needs you badly, you can get more NIL. Leaving it hanging out there is a way to increase your value.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, we can help with hope, right? Yeah. I mean, the NIL, you hope to be here. Well, we can make that a reality. Here's what we can give you. I do think it is interesting where he's going to measure out because if he's 6+, here's the thing. If he's right around 6 feet, I don't worry about him because he plays bigger. He's still learning. Like, right now, the majority of the time he's hovering the perimeter. But you see when he does go to the rack, his lift – for his size, he has incredible lift.
Yeah, his ability to get around downhill is really a NBA-like
Well, and
skill set.
I would say that his vertical is 35+.
Everybody goes through the draft process in college basketball, and you can go all the way up to the 11th hour through the NBA draft camps and all that. Why would you not do it? Phylon will do it. Pettiford will do it. Last year, remember, Mark Sears and Jaron Stevenson were in there until the 11th hour, right before the draft. It's a smart thing to do.
The responsible thing to do.
It is a smart thing to do. Pettiford back, if he comes back, would be huge. You've got Chad Baker-Mazara, who can come back.
Can come back. Where do you think Auburn fans are on him? Wanting him to come back or not.
Let me know in the
chat room can sound off on it, but I feel like, it's a very small sample size, so I'm not going to take this sample size and say it's representative of Auburn's fan base.
He's coming off a pretty dang good game with
he
torn
is.
ligaments in his thumb.
So here's the thing. He's done that, and he played basically, correct me if I'm wrong, from the Alabama game on without any major incident, right? I mean,
well, that was just the last game of the regular season, but yes.
Well, that's a lot for him. Yeah. Those are critical games.
But still, you're talking about, what was that, 6-7 games?
Yeah, but the 7 most important games you played all year.
And you knew that people would be targeting
That's
this
right,
guy.
and nothing else happened. Now, you're concerned if you're an Auburn fan, Lance, is this guy takes on probably the unquestioned leadership role if he stays. And he doesn't have a Janai Broom or a Dylan Cardwell that can crack him back in line if he needs to be. Well, and do you want him in that spot?
I just don't know what his options are going to be. He's so old that I don't think the NBA takes a shot with him.
Oh, no, I don't think he'd play in the NBA. Yeah. I mean, it's either Auburn or Europe, and he'll make more money at Auburn.
Yeah, and what? I mean, will he be 26 next year?
He will be. He's 25. Yeah. He'll be 26.
Yeah. So, just quick response.
But I think most Auburn fans would want him back. I mean, he's a guy that's got good handle. He's long.
Well, listen, their portal pickup
makes all his free throws.
Keyshawn Hall, their strong forward. He was one of the people that judged the players who have entered the portal. He was a top 10 portal guy.
Yeah, it was a big pickup.
So that's a huge pickup for Auburn.
Cheney is listed as a senior, but does Cheney have eligibility left?
Taylor tells me he does not have eligibility left unless they end up suing and not counting D2 years.
The UAH years for him.
The UAH years, because we've sued, and that's how Chad Baker, because he had a JUCO year.
That's right.
Now, nobody has sued yet to clear up if I'm D2, D3, should it only count D1 years?
So Chad Baker-Mazara is basically coming in on the Diego Pavia rule.
He's got a year.
That's where
There's
he's
no
got.
doubt.
But Cheney Johnson, that's not JUCO, that's D2.
Yeah, but
which is NCAA sanctioned. That's the argument is the NCAA can only give me NCAA experience, or not experience, but what's the word I'm looking for? Eligibility. I played in the junior college. That shouldn't count. That was not NCAA. You can't make that same argument on Division II. That's NCAA. It's a harder argument to make, obviously.
Yeah. But at some point, somebody's going to challenge, and I think it was Lance that first brought it up, that at some point you're denying me the ability to make money. If they want to pay me money,
that's right.
You're aging me out.
Yeah.
Because of my age, is that fair? And somebody's going to challenge that.
They are.
Yeah.
Just some quick reaction on that question. Chris, and now some of these, I don't know if they're Alabama or Auburn fans, so you'll have to be the judge. Chris says CBM had a great game, but he was a cancer to the team. I bet BP doesn't want him back.
Well, it's an easy way. I mean, if BP doesn't want him back, he's not going to have him back.
Yeah, the more telltale sign is there an NIL person willing to step up and
there would be.
Yeah. Is there an NIL money for him?
Final Four Troy. I think we know who he's for.
Yeah.
I hope CBM comes back just because the Gumps hate him. Jeff, bring him back. Jeff is an Auburn fan. Nicholas, 26 years old, bring the vet back. Jay Baswell, please no.
Well, you know you're losing Broom, Cardwell, Jones, and Kelly. If you brought Chad Baker back, Pettiford back, and if there's a way that you could bring Chaney Johnson back, it's a really good
news. Yeah, it's good news.
Keyshawn Hall is, I'm telling you, he's a legit player. You got 3 other freshmen coming in. You've got Abdul Bashir, a JUCO guy, 6'7" forward already coming in. So the rebuild is there.
Yeah, John says, I've been going to Auburn games since Bill Lynn was the coach. My brother played for Sonny and Tommy Zui. CBM is one of my favorites to ever wear an Auburn uniform. Bring him back.
Yeah.
There's a guy that's a lot of games.
I'll ask you a very tough question after first, Brownie, you tell us about our friend Alexander Shunnarah. He's our trial attorney, our friend, and a local guy. That's what I don't think we talk enough about how Alexander Shunnarah built his dynasty right here in Alabama.
And do not forget one last Shunnarah showdown tonight. We are playing at Florida -1. The Shunnarah showdown tonight is your very last chance to get in, Lance. Cash prizes, cash card, but still cash.
Yeah, look, so, I mean, you might not have won any of these games yet. You might not have played any of them.
Just play now.
But you can play right now, and you have an opportunity to win $1,000.
That's right. NextRoundLive.com, or you can scan the QR code right there that Scott has up on the screen. We'll send it out on social media as well. NextRoundLive.com, the Shunnarah showdown. All you got to pick the winner against point spread. It's as simple as that. The elite trial lawyers at Alexander Shunnarah have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. Headquartered right here in Birmingham, 24 years. The firm has grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. And as I just told you, they've recovered more than $2 billion. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shunnarah trial attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
And our friends at Odie's, as a big musical weekend just wrapped up, and now nobody does Masters Week like they do at Odie's.
Big time there.
They'll be bringing the turf and the azaleas inside. They do it as part of the tradition of the Birmingham institution, which is Odie's Tavern. We'll give you more information on that as the week builds. But just a great place to go for lunch or dinner. Live music on Fridays and Saturdays. And trivia every Wednesday night. The original location in Crestline. Newest location in Edgewood. Great food at both. Ice cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light. Get in and see Will Aver and that great staff. Odie's Tavern, 2 locations. A buddy of mine just pointed this out. So when kids turn, 25, 26, they got to get off the kids' insurance?
Off the parents' insurance?
How's that work for CBM next year?
Somebody actually just tweeted that. He loses the Final Four and loses his parents' insurance.
Yeah, that's right. CBM, he's got to handle his own auto and health insurance now.
That's part of the discussion with the Pearls. I got to have a little more money.
Yeah, I got to kick that in.
I need a raise.
You need a raise. Tougher rebuild from when the Elite Eight ended for Nate Oates or the Final Four ended for Bruce Pearl? Who's got to do a better job rebuilding their 2 teams?
I feel like Alabama has got it more dialed in right now. We'll see how it plays out over the next days, weeks, months. But just losing the experience that Auburn is losing.
So Auburn's a tougher rebuild.
I think so, because of the number of guys you were forced to lose, not choose to lose, okay? I mean, Alabama was forced to lose. Help me out here. Youngblood, Sears,
Grant Nelson.
Well,
your lack of respect for Grant Nelson just drives me crazy.
I mean, how have I disrespected Grant Nelson?
Dakota Durant was so huge.
Dakota Durant, yeah. They chose, or Diabate chose to leave, or they chose to lose Diabate, whichever one.
There could be as many as 5 or 6 that Auburn's got no control over.
You got no control over it, and to me, that's what makes it more difficult. But the flip side of that is, if I'm battling other teams for guys in the portal, I was just playing in the Final Four.
Well, that's right.
That's
you had to work 8 days longer, but that's a selling point. I got to work 8 days longer.
I would think that Auburn and Alabama, both their NILs in basketball, have done nothing but go up because these diehard fans that are actually paying this money, you taste it a little closer.
But don't you, when Yay Alabama sends out the tweet that Aiden Holloway is staying, or Houston Millett is staying, or Aiden Sherrill
they sent
is
out
staying.
4 of them, all basically at the same time.
Yeah, when they send those out, don't you just assume, okay, well, the deal got negotiated?
Yeah. Well, that's right, because
that's why Yay Alabama.
Wrightsville had sent out a
kind of cryptic
Instagram post that thought maybe that was his last game, and a couple of local media people had jumped on it and said Wrightsville's indicating he's out. He's hitting the portal. Well, a few days later, there's the A Alabama that he's back,
which makes you wonder if Wrightsville's people were act like you're leaving.
Yeah, deal's done on those 4 there. We'll talk more basketball and the national championship game coming up a little bit later on, and we'll talk about Bucky McMillan leaving Samford to be the new coach at Texas A&M, but Ron Slay is in our next segment. Before we get to that, our friends at Michelson Laser Vision brings us the viewing menu. Michelson Laser Vision, LT.
205-969-8100. That is the number. When you make that call, ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. I got the procedure done over 2 decades ago. I still have 20/15 vision, better than 20/20. Make the phone call that I made. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mort Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, you can always go online, michelsonlaservision.com.
Got a few new things tonight. Tonight we've got another one of AMC's Screen Unseens. This is most likely a movie called The Ballad of Wallace Island. It's gotten a lot of good reviews, and it's about old tensions resurfacing when former bandmates who were former lovers reunite for a private show on the island home of an eccentric billionaire.
Oh, wow.
Or millionaire, not a billionaire.
Oh, okay. Only a millionaire, yeah.
This is supposed to be pretty good. I don't think I will be making this one, though.
Oh, wow. Why?
I've got plans.
Oh, wow.
Now who's being cryptic?
A little cryptic there.
Humble date brag. Okay, go ahead. Is that what it is?
What's up?
I mean, if you're gonna open it up, man, I got to ask the tough journalistic questions. Is it a date?
Oh, yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
All right. Where did we meet?
Oh, at the movies, no doubt.
No, online.
Okay. Online.
That's how the kids do it now.
I was just curious.
Oh, yeah. Taylor. All right. Little Tyler. Yeah, Tyler.
Don't confuse the two.
We've also got a new Netflix special, Kill Tony, Kill or Be Killed. Scott Forster in the back is a big Kill Tony fan. It's Tony Hinchcliffe's basically stand-up improv show. So if you're an aspiring stand-up, you put your name in a bucket, and if you get called up, you've got 1 minute to make the panel of comedians laugh, and after that 1 minute, they'll respond.
I've seen this. Forster, you love it?
Oh, dude, it's my my guilty pleasure riding into work almost every day.
Is it awkward?
Yeah. When they're terrible, it's incredibly awkward.
Yeah, I can't make eye contact with a bad comedian. And one more? Did you say you had a few?
I got 2 more.
Okay.
If you don't want to watch anything new tonight, you want some comfort food, 6 p.m. on ETV, you've got a showing of Semi-Pro with Will Ferrell and Woody Harrelson.
Always good.
And Andre 3000.
I was not a big fan.
I like when they give the corn dogs out at the one game if they score like 100 points. And so Will Ferrell's trying to stop them from scoring.
Yeah.
They don't have corn dogs.
We don't have corn dogs.
And finally, on Disney Plus, we've got a new documentary called Not Just a Goof. It explores the untold story of the making of a Goofy movie. It follows the young creative team that's tackling their first Disney feature ever, its initial disappointment at the box office and with critics, and then its resurgence decades later.
That's our reviewing menu today, brought to you by our friends at Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. I know you finished out White Lotus last night, season 3, and it never got it for me. It was good, but it just wasn't great, and it had so much potential.
I agree 100% with you. Maybe we'll revisit that coming up. NASCAR takes us to break. Ron Slay joins us on the other side to talk about the national championship
The fastest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway. They are back with the Jack Links 500 weekend coming up April 25th through 27th at Talladega. You can see it for yourself, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. You got to check it out. If you've never been, do it this April. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of our lawyers.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less. The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by AmFirst, is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
It's bow time.
LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of our lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
14.6 million people watched the Auburn-Florida game. 16 million watched the Duke game. 15.8, and that number will go up when other stuff comes in. Strong viewership, best since 2017 for the Final Four in San Antone.
Our guy, Ron Slay, is still in San Antone. He was there Saturday night. He is there now. You'll see him on the SEC Network. Follow him on social media at the Ron Slay. What is up, my friend? How are you today?
I'm good, man. How you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. Thanks a lot. Well, let's just do them in order. We'll start with Auburn and Florida. We've talked a lot in this show, Slay, about the two different Auburn teams. They were a different team in the second half. Broome kind of disappeared. They started turning the ball over a lot. What happened? What happened at halftime?
Man, I thought, man, coming into that game, coming into the second half. First of all, let's start. Coming into the game, I thought they did a great job of attacking. Broome came out, being Janai Broome. They were able to get the ball to him in spots. They were controlling the boards. The one-on-one play was there. They were controlling the pace more so than anything. We came out at halftime, and I was sitting there talking to Damian Fishback, and I was asking him, like, he was like, man, what you think needs to happen? I said, man, first of all, Walter Clayton Jr. need to get more shots. He was like, man, he got 14. I'm like, that ain't enough, man. This man is playing so efficient, and he's playing at his own pace. And Florida got to pick the pace up of the game. I thought that would bode well for them, with the depth and everything that they have. So they were able to come out, do that, go on an 11-0 run, set the tone. I thought they did a great job as far as the guards of pressuring Auburn's guards and not letting them get those comfortable touches to Broome. Broome was catching the ball almost from the mid-post out to the three-point line and having to back down. They were doing a good job of being physical with them. Chinaloo was a great equalizer. When they ran the pick and roll, sometimes they were getting caught in cross matches where Janai Broome was up there. He was stringing it out long enough. They were giving it to Thomas Houck, and he was making the right play, whether that was driving, going back with a handoff, or knocking down a big-time three. So that opened it up for Walter Clayton Jr. And then when you just talk about Walter Clayton Jr., man, I don't know what you do. Like Auburn was playing good defense. Like, I'll take that defense 10 times out of 10, the way Miles Kelly and them was doing, Chad Baker-Mazar getting a hand up on the shot. He's not seeing defenders right now. And I think that was one of it. The momentum started going, and once the momentum started going, the best player on the floor was Walter Clayton Jr. He showed it by closing the game on out.
I've heard Kemba Walker. I brought up Darren Williams, the former guard for Illinois. I do see some Steph Curry. I know it's hard to call one of these 22-year-olds a Steph Curry, but, his ability to create his own shots, some of the shots, the degree of difficulty. But let me ask you, they list him at 6'3". You've seen him on the court. How big is Walter Clayton Jr.?
Man, he looked every bit of 6'3",
Okay.
6'3.5" to me. And it's a solid 6'3.5". It's not the stringy, long, athletic type. It's well put together, body proportion the right way. And you can see it when he's getting these shots. A lot of times he's elevating high. He's elevating just enough. But the thing is, the way he squares his shoulders in the air, that's hard. That's hard to defend, man, because you're running as a defender, catching up a lot of the times, and him stopping on a dime, unorthodox, like feet pointing away from the rim. But when he jumps, he elevates and squares, and you're not there. Even when you're there, you're not there. He's in a zone like no other. I've related to something like Carmelo Anthony, what he was able to do when it was just like he's not seeing defenders. It was like just playing one-on-one. You're doing workout drills. You're jabbing, getting to your spot, raising up. And that's what it looks like he's doing. So, that's you tip your cap to Auburn. That a phenomenal season. Run up against anybody else. And I think you handle business the way you're supposed to. You just ran up against a guy that was hotter and a team that was hotter.
Most of the time, and I've done this a long time, I talk to coaches after a season like this, and when they lose, especially when they let it to half, coaches sometimes second-guess themselves.
Yeah.
And Barkley hinted afterwards that he thought maybe Bruce holding them back, trying not to get into the pace game, maybe impacted them there early in the second half. Do you think there's anything BP would second-guess himself on in this game as he sits on the lake this summer?
Man, that's always hard to do, man. Bruce has been in these predicaments. He's been in these spots. He's been in high high caliber situations where he's got to make calls and not made them, and it's worked out, and made them and it's not worked. So I mean, it's always hindsight. You can speak on it, but one thing I think I would have loved for him to do is maybe call a timeout instead of he has. But that's the part you play when you have an experienced bunch, and they're always able to work through. Auburn never feels like they're out of the game because of the experience that they have and the way they share the ball and the way they can lock in on defense and the runs that they go on. So you calling a timeout trying to stop it may stop your run that's probably going to come at some point. But man, not on this stage, man. I can't get it to the coach. I just thought, man, you were out executed by one guy. Like Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah,
that's the answer. When you come back and talk about this great team,
he is him.
Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah.
Ron Slay is with us, SEC Network and ESPN at the Ron Slay on social media, and he will be there tonight for Florida and Houston. Houston is the other half of that game because of a meltdown like we rarely see on this stage, Slay, and we never see it by a team like Duke. I mean, that was on TV remarkable to watch. I cannot imagine you standing in the Alamo Dome watching that unfold in front of you.
In person, it was unimaginable. Like, you at some point you're like, okay, they're gonna get this together. But I think, man, John Shire, I've been hearing people talk about the coaching meltdown. To me, it wasn't. Like, you can't go out there and play for them. You can't go out there and make the plays. You can't go out there and make the free throws. You can't make them go out there and be strong with the ball. You can't do any of that. That right there, man, was sheer will, fire, and desire. If you want to take from the great Rick James and Tina Marie, that was fire and desire right there. What they had going on with Houston. And I'm gonna tell you, man, walking into that matchup, it's you look at those guys practicing. And I told Fishback, I picked Duke coming into that game. And when we got an opportunity on Friday to watch Houston practice, man, listen here. I don't know if you've seen the clips or watched videos or in person seen when these tactical teams or police force, they train the canines or the dogs. Man, that is something to marvel at. When Houston ran on the floor, you could see in their eyes, everything was piercing to everything that Coach Sampson said. I mean, he had their attention. He didn't have to raise his voice. The guys were echoing what he was saying. And this ain't only for the players. This was the assistant coaches like Hollis Price. All these guys, man, they were running away. They have just broke the huddle. And one of the guys was running to the corner to get to his spot. And Kevin Sampson lightly said, hey, y'all, come here real quick. Just like this. In this loud gym with all these fans, hey, y'all, come here real quick. And Sharp didn't hear him. Jawan Roberts snapped so fast. Hey, man, get over here. And he turned about face and sprinted to the other. I was like, wow. We haven't seen this from Auburn, from Florida, or from Duke. Everybody has their way they go about it, and it works for them. But this was impressive. They were locked in. And I told Fishback, as soon as I said that, I said, man, somehow I ain't know it was going to happen like this. Like, I ain't Slastradamus like this. But he had those guys zeroed in, and we knew they were going to beat Duke.
Slay, I said it earlier. I never even considered Duke losing the game until Tyrese Proctor with 20 seconds misses the front end of the 1-and-1 and then the very controversial call. But even after they go down and they hit both shots of the 1-and-1 and take the 1-point lead, Shire takes the timeout. I thought Cooper Fly got an incredible look. And I don't know how he missed that shot. Like I said earlier, I think he probably makes it 75, 80% of the time.
We talked about it on this show over and over and over, saying it repeatedly. It's difficult. That's why it's so astonishing when a guy like a freshman can lead a team to a national championship. At some point, experience kicks in. We saw it against Kansas. We saw it against Kentucky. We saw when they went on the neutral site. When they went on the road game against Clemson. At some point, it falters. And there's nothing you can do about that. You learn from experience. If he would have come back next year, I could guarantee it would be at least 4 or 5 game winners. It would be pound the chest moments because that's the way Cooper Flag is built. But he's never been through it before. Houston stays in it. That's the part of it that you cannot manufacture. There's no coaching that can get you ready for that. Hell yeah, he got a good shot up. But Juwan Roberts, man, that extension right there just made him blink. Just like we're talking about Walter Clayton, not seeing defenders. Believe me, Cooper Flag saw everything of Juwan Roberts and still got the shot he wanted. And that's all you needed was that little bit of miss right there. And it happened.
Everybody says that Indianapolis and San Antonio are two of the best places to host the Final Four. For a guy that dropped Rick James and Tina Marie's Fire and Desire on us here, have you enjoyed the city? Is it a fun place for a Final Four?
Jim, let me tell you this, man. Hey, man, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, depths of my soul. San Antonio, I'll never be back. If it's not an event like this in San Antonio, I'll never be back. Man, the thing that made it the greatest was all the fans arriving and the fanfare and the camaraderie and the fans going back and forth. Everybody running through the streets, high-fiving, seeing teams deflated after losses. But other than that, no.
Not your town.
I mean, I did not. I didn't tell him in the break, Slay, because I didn't know if you would want to talk about this. The text he sent me last night, the most boring city I've ever been in to be holding an event of this magnitude.
Oh, wow.
Trash. Tell him what I put out to that.
He put trash. in a little trash can.
The trash basket. Hey, man, I'm telling you, man, the people are nice. All of that is cool. Man, this not the city to host this event. I understand it boosts the economy for sure. I love that for them, but other than that, we got to be able to find another city, man. We got to.
Coming to Nashville soon. I'm projecting.
Please
build that dome.
I'm projecting they're about to announce 2032 through 2036, and I'm telling you, Nashville will have one of these.
You don't think they'll need to see the finished construction first?
They're going to announce it before the dome is built, 2032 through 36. They will get one of these Final Fours. Mark it down.
Well, the city is ready and will be buzzing. And I'm telling you right now, as soon as it's announced, I'm going to pick out a venue and I'm hosting something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something. Cigars and bourbon night or a sleigh ride night with the stories, and so it's going to be something.
I like that. Christmas in March, sleigh ride. I like it.
Slay and Joe, who lifts the trophy tonight? Who you picking?
Man, I'm going to tell you this, man. I see that focus that Houston has. Kevin Sampson's doing a terrific job of being able to get guys focused and play the way they are. And, man, together as a defensive unit, they're different. They're different. You got a guy that's been there, won a championship, when he was with Baylor. But listen here, man, believe what your eyes are showing you. Believe what your eyes are showing you. We walked into this saying this is the hottest team in the country, going into the SEC tournament and going into the NCAA tournament. And on top of that, they've been able to keep this young man in the oven baked on 375, Walter Clayton Jr. It's the hottest team, the hottest coach, the hottest player. Believe what your eyes are showing you. Throw all analytics out the window. Florida Gators 71-76. Ain't no question about it.
So the SEC has not won a national championship since Kentucky in 2012. This was the year of the SEC when it comes to college basketball. How important is it for the SEC to win this championship to solidify this incredible year?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge, man. You got to be able to go and finish the deal. And then I think who you're doing it against. Even though Houston is just now getting to the Big 12, if they were to go and win this, the Big 12 sitting there beating their chest like, oh, that's good what you're doing in the regular season and the strength of schedules and the conference and all that. That's beautiful to watch, but we always find a way to go get it done. So this right here, the turning of the guard, man, talk about the Alamo being out there. They got one volunteer left down here, and that's me. I'm going like David Crockett, baby. I'm defending the SEC. Let's go, Florida.
Oh, great stuff, Slay. Enjoy the game, buddy. Safe travels back home.
It's so historically perfect.
I know. I'm the one volunteer. That was great.
No, that's
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah. See you, my man. Thank you.
Amazing.
All right, that is Ron Slay on the Shunnarah Hotline. Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys Hotline brought you the great Ron Slay. Always fun talking to him.
Yeah. Also, our friends at Hemphill LT, you were going to tell us about a happy customer from our friends at Hemphill.
Yeah, I'll read verbatim. My buddy Kevin Kozlik sent me, so he bought a unit before we started the next round. And so he called the company that actually installed the unit from years ago. He said, I had to leave a message, called several times during the day, no answer. Even went to their website, put in an electronic request, no response. Friday morning, called our friends at Hemphill. Andrew answered the phone, said he would get somebody there that day. Andrew called back, got someone out to his house before noon. Within 20 minutes, problem was fixed by Drew the tech. When he told him about this on Saturday afternoon, the other company still hadn't even reached out to schedule an appointment.
It's incredible.
Oh, it's horrible.
This is the incredible service you get. The pricing is fair. It's one of the reasons that Birmingham has trusted Hemphill Services since 1954 for all the plumbing, heating, and cooling issues in your home or business. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Hey, listen, we got our first major of the year this year. Our first major of the year starting this week. I don't know if you've noticed my hat, but the boys are in Augusta this week. And you can go celebrate it by playing at the Golfus. By the way, you can participate at the Golfus, Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators, while also having the golf on the TVs in the Bay, like the basketball game tonight, the golf all through the week.
Oh,
baseball
I'm on 14
games.
at Augusta National. This shot's on 14 at. Let's see how I hit it.
That's right. You can do that right there at the Golfus. Bookabay, thegolfus.com is the website, thegolfus.com. Highway 280. Vestavia and Trussville, 3 great locations. You bring your own food, bring your own drink, bring your own alcohol, and just have a great time. Get out of the office, have a great event at the Golfus. See more online, Bookabay, thegolfus.com, thegolfus.com. Don't know if you noticed, but it rained yesterday.
Yeah.
If you wanted to play golf yesterday, the Golfus was your place to go, thegolfus.com.
Yeah, and if you don't like mud, good place to go today.
That's right, absolutely. Probably not going to dry out much today.
It's hard to dry out that much. Okay, John Shire catching some drive-bys here. I mean, you blow a 14-point lead in the last 8 minutes. You blow a 6-point lead in the last 34 seconds. Here's John Shire, the young, up-and-coming Duke coach who is we talked about how good he was on Friday. So good that we never talk about Coach K.
Oops.
Now here we are on Monday. Here's John Shire after that meltdown.
I mean, it's been a special ride that ended in a heartbreaking way. And frankly, the game, we did what we wanted to do. You know, I thought our guys followed the game plan, controlled the game. We had the lead for 35 minutes. We're winning by 6 with 1:15 to go. And they made plays, and you got to give them a ton of credit. We didn't make those plays, and you go from some of the most special moments in the tournament to the most heartbreaking loss. And I'm not about to feel sorry for 1 second. These guys have done an incredible job. It's heartbreaking. It's incredibly disappointing. There's a lot of pain that comes with this. That's what the tournament is all about. You know, you're an inch away from the national championship game. But I could not be more proud of these 2 guys next to me. We've done this thing differently. And what they've done at 18 and 19 years old, I couldn't fathom doing. Just incredible.
Okay, now I want to point out that they took Alabama's guards in the game before this off the board, Duke's defense. Houston's guards scored 49 of their 70. So why was Houston's guards able to do that? Was it they're just bigger, they're better than Alabama's guards?
They are bigger.
Or did Duke's defense somehow lapse? Why could one team's guards score 49 of 70, do the percentages, and Alabama's guards not have success against that length of Duke on the perimeter?
I mean, that is a great question. I wish I knew enough basketball to watch that and give you the answer. Houston's guards are bigger. I mean, Houston's a big team, man.
Yeah.
That is a big, thick, physical team. And I think some of it, and this is not meant as a criticism of Nate Oates, I think Nate Oates would probably tell you this. Kelvin Sampson's been in way more of those situations than him. And Kelvin Sampson's an experienced Hall of Fame coach. So, you in big games like this, Nate Oates will probably be better in that situation next time, having lived through it. Sampson's seen this a lot. And I guess potentially knew some adjustments to make.
I mean, Nate Oates has a system, and I feel like he has seen his system, go up against a certain type of team this year, and he seems to be recruiting and portaling maybe a solution that would solve that problem, a little size at the guard position.
I agree, yeah.
And for Kelvin Sampson, he's got a system he recruits to, a type of player, and that type of player handled that situation really well.
Look, you're missing your best player from last year in Jamal Shedd. L.J. Crier's been really, really good. Emmanuel Sharp's been really good. But for Houston to be in this situation is pretty surprising. I remember all of us talking about at the beginning of the year, Houston was a top 5 team, but it seemed like something was missing when they started 3-2. Now we're talking about a Houston team that just isn't losing. They've won 18 straight games. They've lost 1 game in the year of 2025. And going back to the final 10.5, where Duke only hit 1 shot in the final, fourth of that game, 1 of 9 down the stretch. And Malowatch to go 21 minutes and not have a rebound? Yeah. How is that even possible?
I can't believe. No, you're absolutely right about that. What I couldn't believe is after the technical on Tugler for touching the ball out of bounds that Duke lost that game.
Oh,
that should have.
That's when I knew Houston's not covering. Houston has no chance of covering this 5 now because of that boneheaded play.
And you could almost see it on Sampson's face when Tugler walked to the sidelines, and I don't know what he said to him. But it was basically, it looked like, how could you do that?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that called before?
Oh,
you ever seen it happen?
I've seen it happen, but man, that is so rare.
You know when it happened? The only time I've ever seen it happen.
Yeah.
It happened to me. I did it in a 3rd grade YMCA basketball game.
Wow.
And a little kid, stuck the ball out like that, and I slapped it just out of instinct. But I was in 3rd grade. I've never seen it happen again.
No. But if he sticks it out over the baseline, you can hit it, right?
I don't know.
No, I think you can. I thought that was the rule. If it's over
the baseline, yeah.
Either way, that was not over the baseline. He reaches out of bounds and touches it 100%. And, how that didn't end the game, I am still baffled by.
Yeah, me too.
And that was, by the way, the free throw on that. I think Knippel took the free throw, if I remember correctly.
He did.
That was the last point Duke scored in the game. After that, it was all Houston. And I just, unfortunately, we kind of touched on this with Slay. I think that will get, now some of it depends on what happens tonight. If Houston goes on and wins tonight, you'll probably remember it differently. But unfortunately, you'll remember more of the Duke meltdown than you will the Houston comeback and how much they contributed.
Yeah, because that was at 114 when Knippel made the free throw to make it 67-61. And then Knippel misses the layup, and then it all falls apart.
Yep.
Our NASCAR fast look at tonight's championship game brought to you by our friends at the Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com is the website to go to get all the information on the Jack Links 500 weekend coming to the Talladega Superspeedway April 25th through 27th. If you have not ever been to a race at Talladega, you are absolutely missing out. You need to go see basically 4 turns and a dogleg straightaway of the most white-knuckle, pure speed, incredible action you've ever seen. The Jack Links 500 NASCAR Weekend, Talladega Superspeedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's the 11th time since we started seeding the tournament in 1979 that we've got 2 1 seeds playing each other, only the 11th time that's happened. Here's an amazing stat for you. Florida, as a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, is 15-1 all time. When they're a 1 seed, man, they deliver. They're 15-1 all time when they're the 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. So I assume this is only the third time.
Huh?
It has to be.
What loss was it?
A Final Four loss.
So I would think that, I know in 6 they weren't a 1 seed, in 7 they were. So they obviously went 6-0 there.
Well, if they're a 2-time national champion, how are they 15-1?
As a 1 seed, though.
Yeah.
No, the Lon Kruger Final Four team was not a 1 seed.
No. So 6 wins in 7, 5 wins this year, that's 11.
Okay.
So then you go back to another time where a 1 made a run and didn't close the deal.
Yeah, because they've been to the Final Four a couple of times.
Yeah, it seemed like Billy Donovan was
Are
automatic.
y'all a little surprised that the SEC hasn't won one since 12?
I am.
That did surprise me when you say that.
Yep.
I would have guessed somewhere around 16, 17.
The Big Ten hasn't won one since 2000, right?
Right.
That's even
Michigan State.
That's even more surprising.
That's even more surprising.
Yeah.
But you combine those two conferences that are running college sports right now, and they've combined for 2 championships.
I do think if Florida doesn't win this game, I do think we're going to forget how special this year was in the SEC.
I would agree with you.
Because, Flag ended up getting the AP Player of the Year. And then
you got
Houston,
the Wooden and the Naismith.
And then Houston would end up winning the national championship. So I don't think a lot of people would remember how dominant the SEC was.
Yeah, Flag ended up getting the major individual awards over Broome, the Naismith, the Wooden, and the, I guess, AP Player of the Year. Broome got his awards like strong power forward and all that.
You know what's interesting? If you actually had the voting, if you couldn't vote until the day after the national championship,
Walter
Clayton, there's a good chance he'd win it.
He walks with it. Yeah.
Right now he is the player. He may win the player of the MOP. The
Win a
most
loss.
outstanding player.
I think
even
he
with
will.
a loss tonight.
If they lose a tight game, unless Cryer goes off, because Sharp didn't have a good semifinal.
Yeah, I don't even know who you give it to for Houston. Sharp, Cryer, Uzan.
It's Cryer.
It's Cryer right now.
If he scores 20 plus and they win it tonight. But to do, that stat, when it came across after they beat Auburn, that the last player to score 30 plus in an Elite Eight in national semifinal game was Larry Bird in 1979.
Incredible.
When you can do that.
I know. When you get in Larry Bird's category, and he was carrying a team.
Yeah.
To remember, if you guys don't remember history, though, Larry Bird did that in the Elite Eight in the semifinals. He did it in the finals, too, but they lost the game.
By the way, it would be so Houston to win this game and not even have the most outstanding player.
It would be.
It would be so Houston.
Yeah.
So Houston. 7:50 is the tip time tonight.
Are you guys excited about
CBS.
I'm not nearly as excited about this game. I thought
Duke,
for a
Florida.
good time we were going to get. I thought we were going to get Duke Auburn.
Yeah, Duke Florida would have been a more exciting game. I've got Houston winning this whole thing, so I should be all in on it. I guess the relief of knowing I can't lose.
Yeah, I've got Florida winning it all over Houston. I have the Final Four exactly the way I picked it.
Yeah.
And barely avoid the typical Jim, barely avoid the bracket challenge.
I know.
My best bracket ever, and I barely avoid
losing.
If
If that would have been a meltdown on your watch, we would have
we would have played it up much more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll continue the conversation. Get a little football 4 downs coming up in the next segment as we roll towards the national championship of what has been an amazing basketball season going on. The show being brought to you by a couple of great folks. One of them, our friends at Bojangles, Brownie.
That is right. Jimmy D, you'll make a lot of decisions today. One of those can be a great decision for lunch, and it's an easy one at Bojangles. Go enjoy those Bo Bites. Bite-sized, hand-breaded chicken fried to crispy perfection. Perfect for sharing, snacking, or when you are on the go. Just do not call it a nugget. The only hard part, choosing from 6 dipping sauces. One for every taste. The creamy house-made ranch, the sweet, spicy, peach honey pepper sauce. It just depends on the mood you are in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today. Tell them you want those dippable, shareable, craveable Bo Bites. It's Bo time.
Hey, you never know when you're going to start thinning out and losing that hair. It's a lot of men's, one of their biggest fears is going bald. Hey, our man, Dr. Beckenstein, he can help you out. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B. Right now I'm doing that non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. Did it last night. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. 205-319-0316. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net. T3's got that new test. It's so easy, painless, affordable. It takes only 4 seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They'll custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you actually want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they're working. Stop wasting your money in critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B. Find out what will work. 205-319-0316 or T3hair.net.
At 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, you. Days warming up. Looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR, Talladega Superspeedway is ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to this track, you've got to come check it out. 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Superspeedway. It's April 25th through the 27th, and you can get your tickets right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. That's TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on The Next Round as we roll through show number 925 on this championship Monday. We'll do 4 downs in a second. Before Brownie tells us about the national championship odds, I'm interested in the over-under from our friends at MyBookie. A couple of things happened over the weekend. Denny Hamlin wins in Darlington. Alex Ovechkin breaks the scoring record in the NHL. He's been on the heater. The 39-year-old gets his 895th goal, breaking Gretzky's record. Gretzky on hand to see it. The irony of this, they both did it in 1,487 NHL games.
That's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah, right on the nose.
And Ovechkin, I mean, the year he's having right now has been pretty incredible. I mean, it does seem, it's almost like Barry Bonds when he was going on that run after 61 on home runs. Every time you looked up, the guy was hitting a home run. Same thing with Ovechkin. And now, could he possibly get to 1,000 goals?
Yeah.
But the points total is nowhere in.
Gretzky owns every other record.
Yeah, but when you factor in assist, Gretzky's points, Ovechkin has no shot at that, does he?
But still, 1,000 goals would be crazy.
Yeah.
And also just the weirdness of the timing. Aaron Judge hit his 321st home run in his first 1,000 Yankee games, the same number that Babe Ruth had in his first 1,000 Yankees games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was over the weekend?
Yeah.
Wow.
You think Judge sees better pitching
than Ruth did? I think so.
No, he does.
Yeah. Now, they probably would
now,
say...
Now, the dimension's probably a little bit better.
Yeah. And they would probably say the ball's...
torpedo bat a little bit different.
The ball's a little tighter than
Yeah.
hand-woven. And then the torpedo bats now, but yeah, a little different, but still pretty good accomplishment. All those numbers brought to you by our friends at MyBookie, getting you ready for the national championship game tonight.
So you had interest, in the total. It is 141.
You went like 5 syllables on.
Interest. I don't know why I did that.
141.
141.
So 7270.
Yeah, like
That's 142.
Is an over.
I ended up not giving. I gave the side out. I did not give the total out. I wanted to play the under, but because both games in the semis went under, it's just painful to pull for an under. I do think it probably goes under. I think they score in the high 60s each.
Oh, if they go under, Houston wins the game.
I would agree.
In my opinion. Because it's Houston's defense against Florida's pace, right?
Yeah, 141.
I mean, but even when Duke was up, 6 with 33 seconds left, the game was flying under. Do you think at that point Houston was going to win?
I did not.
That is an excellent point. Florida is -1. If you just want to play the point spread there, Florida is -1. And the total of 141 right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round at mybookie.ag. That is the code you use when you make your initial deposit there. 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip to use right there in the casino and the live casino. MyBookie.ag, code next round is where you get all of that. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag, code next round. They've got a Masters section up there. I just clicked on that. You can pick the champion there, Scotty Scheffler, plus 450 as they head into the week. It's already been practice round delayed because of weather today. But they'll should have good weather for the 4 rounds. MyBookie.ag code next round. MyBookie.ag code next round.
So Gino Auriemma wins his first since 2016.
It was their first one since 2016. Yes,
2016 becomes the oldest coach to ever win a national championship. Right?
How old is he? 70? In women's or just overall?
Overall, I think. And now I think Kelvin Sampson tonight at 69 can become the oldest to ever win a men's basketball championship.
And I'm pulling, not because I have Houston in the bracket. I'd like to see Kelvin Sampson get one. I've always liked the guy. He's been plagued by NCAA issues, which I've always thought were
silly.
They were silly in the grand scheme of things, calling guys a little too early and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he was baiting the NCAA. It seems like he does it the right way. I mean, everybody was,
Oh, yeah.
They were pushing the envelope. Everybody was in a gray area. He just seemed to be like the guy that always got caught.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you see him walking into the interview and the sports information person or the NCAA person saying, that's the biggest comeback in Final Four history? And he goes, in Final Four history? Yeah, Final Four history. How much was it? 14. Good thing it wasn't 17.
Yeah.
Did you see him talk about growing up in Fayetteville, North Carolina?
I did.
And I did say, I heard them say that was the biggest, but then what I read everywhere, it said it was the 5th largest. Which I find it hard to believe there were 4 games that were bigger meltdowns in Final Four history, right? You don't blow 14-point leads.
Well, I think it's the largest. I think it's the 5th largest comeback in NCAA tournament history.
Okay, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's 5th largest comeback because Alabama was their game. They were down a lot in this tournament.
Alabama?
Yeah.
They were to Duke.
No, I was talking about one they won.
No?
No. I swear I was somewhere and I thought Alabama was one of the biggest comebacks. Were they down 11?
11 would have been one of the biggest comebacks?
One of the biggest comebacks to win the game in NCAA tournament history.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
You just don't get a lot of
Here are the top 5 largest comebacks in Final Four history.
This is just Final Four.
Yeah. Number 1 was Duke against Maryland 2001 Final Four. They were down 22.
Wow.
They came back and won it?
Yep. They were down 39-17 in the first half. Now they had Jay Williams and Shane Battier.
Yeah, so that helped comeback.
So it was the fifth in Final Four history.
Seton Hall was down to Duke in the semis by 18. They came back and beat Duke. Damn, Duke's had 2 brutal losses.
Well, they have one brutal comeback. It equals out.
How do I not remember? This is just a couple of years ago. Do you guys remember Kansas, North Carolina for the national championship 3 years ago tonight? They were down 16, and they came back and beat North Carolina.
I do remember that.
I remember Carolina having a big lead. I don't remember it was that big.
Don't remember that.
I do. Because Carolina had beaten Duke, the night before, and you're like, oh, that's their national championship game. There's no way. And then Kansas gets way down. You're like, my gosh.
Yeah. So 2 more. Loyola against Cincinnati in the 1963 championship game. Loyola was down 15. They came back and won. Wow.
I don't Rabbit Ears, Junior.
I don't remember this. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic. San Diego State was down 14 to Florida Atlantic in the semifinals. Do you guys remember that?
Don't remember. That was a pretty boring Final Four to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were trailed 56-42 with 13:53 left in the game. They closed 30-15 run.
The show being brought to you by our friends at ImageCraft. Before we get ready to do 4 downs, tell us about ImageCraft.
Yeah, imagecraft.net is the website to start with there, though. But if you're one of those offices, a tax office, a school, a pharmacy, you do a lot of printing, car dealership, they do a lot of printing. You know how quickly you can burn through and add up printer and copier supply expenses. Well, ImageCraft carries all the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. They offer free same-day delivery on all the in-stock items to the Birmingham metro area. If you're outside Birmingham, free shipping outside the area. Here's what you need to do. Either go in the Gadsden Highway store in Trustville there, just down from Pinnacle Shopping Center. Mention you heard it on the next round, saw it on the next round, you get 10% off. Or use code TNR10 at imagecraft.net. Save 10% there. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Okay, a couple of names to keep an eye on in the portal. Yaxel Lindenborg from UAB has committed to Michigan, that Dusty May guy who was in Florida Atlantic. So Yax is going from UAB to Michigan, but he's going to test the waters in the NBA first, and we'll see if he stays. But he was considered the number 1 guy in the portal. Of all the portal people, he was considered to be the best guy. And Auburn doesn't get him. Alabama don't get him. Michigan gets him if he's staying in college basketball.
He's a legit 6'8", 6'9". I think Dusty May, you saw what he was able to do with guys like Wolf and Golden, true 7-footers, and their ability to distribute the basketball. Yax is one of those guys that can distribute the basketball. He's got good handle. I think with a premier program, to me, I've seen him first half of the second round for a lot of teams. But if you're Yax and you can go to a program like Michigan and play for a guy like Dusty May, why would you not make sure you solidify yourself as a first-round guy next year?
And with Yax, they now have 3 of the top, what's considered to be the top 6 portal pickups Michigan does. So they got 3 of the top 6 guys.
Yeah. For a team
by reference, the list I was looking at from something, Maya, one of the metrics places, the kid for Auburn, Keyshawn Hall, was 10th on that list. The Alabama guy's not in the top 10. I got to go look and see where they all rank out. They've got 3 of the top 6
we brought
in
this
one
up
place.
Last week, though. When you talked about Golden and John Shire and guys that will be back in this situation, Dusty May was another guy we threw out. Like, watch out what he – obviously a guy that had a 14-point lead 2 years ago in the Final Four for Florida Atlantic, and those guys are making impacts everywhere else. Now that he's got a premier job, Dusty May is going to make some noise.
And keep an eye out for Chattanooga guard Honor Huff. Honor Huff led the nation in three-pointers made, led Chattanooga to the NIT championship. He's in the portal now. Went to the portal over the weekend. Honor Huff.
Man,
change that last name, boy. He would he'd take a lot of heat.
I got it. You win the NIT and lose your best player, man. You just can't catch a break, can you?
Well, I mean, Chattanooga, he's going to get paid a little bit.
Still hard to believe that was your NIT championship matchup.
Yeah, that Chattanooga beat UC Irvine. Nebraska won the crown. They only get $300,000 for their NIL.
That's split between the play. Oh, it's to the NIL. So they
determine who. Is that regular season tournament in Vegas that gives it straight to the NIL players.
Can you imagine cutting up $300K 10 years ago with players, though?
They'd have been all about it.
Oh, my gosh.
That gets us to our 4 downs today, brought to you by our friends at Bojangles Browning.
You do not any longer have to choose between sweet and savory at breakfast. Have them both for a limited time with our friends at Bojangles. It is the Bojangles new chicken and bowberry waffles. Bojangles' signature Cajun chicken filet drizzled with a bowberry glaze sandwich between warm waffles, available for a limited time. It's bow time.
First down.
Adrian Beltre, 46 years old today. If I asked you who ultimately had the better career, Adrian Beltre or Matt Ryan?
Has Beltre won a championship?
I don't think Beltre did, but I'm not positive. I mean, he was with so many different teams, but career numbers, I think Beltre's were better.
It's a common name. We're talking about Matt Ryan, the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Really, really good. Matt Ryan, Beltre.
Matt Ryan won the MVP in 16. They should have won.
If he closes the deal in the Super Bowl, he's a locked first ballot guy.
4-time All-Star, 5-star Golden Glove for Beltre. Home run leader in 2004. Rangers Hall of Fame. It seemed like they would list him winning a World Series if he had a. Let's see.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, Rangers, Red Sox in 2010, 1 year. Mariners and Dodgers during the bad Dodgers years. I'm gonna.
I mean, think about these numbers.
Ryan.
I mean, not only was he one of the best third basemen defensively for years and years and years, but he was a 286 guy, over 3,000 hits, 477 home runs, and 1,700 RBIs.
I just saw the 477 home runs. I'm backing off. I'm going Beltre.
I think I would
I'll go Beltre as well.
We just forget, and the reason when I saw that it was his birthday, I was like, damn, that is one of the quietest careers for a player that we've ever seen.
And he did it where?
He did it all over the place.
Dodgers from 98 to 2004, Mariners 2005 to 09, Red Sox 1 year and 10, and then the last 5, 6, 7 seasons with the Rangers.
Yeah. Interesting. You're right.
Second down.
So, Francis Ford Coppola, 86 years old today. If I asked you the best non-Godfather Coppola work,
Apocalypse Now.
All right,
it is for me.
Tyler.
Wow. Yeah, it's my favorite war movie. But he did The Outsiders. He did The Conversation with Gene Hackman in 1974. That was nominated for Best Picture. I've never seen Peggy Sue Got Married. I've heard it's really good with Kathleen Turner, believe it or not. He did that. Cotton Club, which at one time was the biggest flop in cinema history as far as budget before Waterworld. Yeah.
And then Coppola outperformed that flop with Megalopolis.
How bad was it?
It wasn't a bad movie. It was just like really bloated, and some parts were just really weird for no reason. Like John Voight is in the movie, and he has a joke towards the end of the movie, and it just makes no sense in like context of the plot. But yeah, people did not want to go see that, and it lost a lot of money.
Okay. Well, Apocalypse Now.
That would be the only one I've even seen.
But if you haven't seen The Conversation, The Outsiders, I never read it. I heard like the book was better than the movie.
I think they're about the same.
Okay.
Yeah. I would go. I've seen Apocalypse Now. I would go that one.
Yeah, that would be the one I've seen.
That was a genre of war movies that really were disturbing. Deer Hunter, those during that period of time. That
Vietnam War did not seem fun.
No.
So
making that movie nearly killed Coppola too.
Well, he's got the documentary, and you could make the argument Heart of Darkness would be as good as Apocalypse Now. Because people didn't realize how
is that the one
much
where the
of a pain in the
helicopter
ass.
killed somebody?
No, that was Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Well, Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad was actually the actor that got killed.
So he was just really bad with his finances, right? Because a lot of people say Godfather 3 was because he was broke, and he went back to the well on Godfather 3, which is an awful movie, but
yeah, he was struggling with finances a lot because of Apocalypse Now. There's a Netflix documentary called In the Heart of Darkness, which goes into the production of that film, and Coppola was running over budget because they were using like military helicopters where they were shooting, and there was a current civil war, so every time that the military had to go squash a rebellion, they'd just fly off in the middle of the take. And Coppola would get so mad because he's like, well, dang it, we're wasting film here. And we got to wait for these guys to finish their job and then come all the way back.
It's a
try
fascinating
again.
documentary.
He also couldn't come up with an ending to the movie, and that was one thing that was really bothering him on set, where he he ended up walking around with a gun on set and just like threatening to take his own life right there on set because he was just that overwhelmed by everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be the ending that he couldn't find at that point.
Yeah.
Third down.
Russell Crowe, 61 years old today. Better career, Russell Crowe or Russell Wilson?
I'll go Russell Crowe. Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl.
Should have won 2.
Yep.
Should have won 2.
Russell Crowe has won 2 Best Actor.
Yeah.
Now, I will say Russell Crowe hadn't done anything good in a long time.
He has not, but the other day when we were talking about
of course, Russell Wilson hadn't done anything good in a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. When we were talking about best actors, I felt like maybe Russell Crowe should have gotten a mention for our generation. I think Russell Crowe.
Well, I mean, to be able to
fantastic.
play John Nash and Maximus, in back-to-back years, that's pretty good range.
It is great range.
It's just a shame he takes the most dog water movies.
Well, he
now.
does.
He's in every kind of just low-budget exorcism movie for some reason now. Like,
I'm glad he's still alive.
Well,
I mean, he looks like
Gladiators-
he's about to bust at the seams.
Gladiator, his best role?
Oh, yeah, I
Easily.
think.
I liked him in American Gangster. I mean, I thought he was fantastic.
He was really
in that
good.
movie, yeah.
A Beautiful Mind. I just didn't like the movie. People think it's a great movie. It won best picture, best actor, but I just didn't like it. So I would go best role would be Gladiator.
By the way,
Romper Stomper was really good too. He plays Skinhead over in Australia. He's really good in that.
On my flight to DC, I watched the first half of Gladiator, and on my flight home, I watched almost all the second half. And I'm just thinking, because I'm on the aisle seat right there, and there's beheadings in that, and I'm like, anybody could be sitting there watching it. Like, I get the warning on my screen.
It's a privacy screen for people next to you.
Oh, really? So they can't see it that well?
But if you're right behind you, you can see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some pretty graphic scenes in Gladiator, too. I got to do the last 30 minutes, but I actually liked it.
Yeah, it was
I
good.
thought it was a pretty good movie.
I imagine there were a lot of situations like that when Game of Thrones was at its peak.
Available on airplanes.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, Gladiator was so good. That's why Gladiator 2 couldn't touch it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fourth down.
Jackie Chan, 71 years old today. Jackie Chan or Tom Hanks, better career?
Well, this feels easy, Tom Hanks. What am I missing on Jackie Chan?
I think I might go Jackie Chan. Just the international.
Entire, second career before he made it to America in Hong Kong.
Yeah, his if you look, that's a guy that somebody needs to do a documentary on, is Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Because his 6 decades of work and the international stardom that is Jackie Chan.
Yeah, but I'm going to put Ichiro in the Baseball Hall of Fame because of what he did when he got here.
That's right.
So I'm going to take Tom Hanks because of what he did here.
Now, Tom Hanks is on a money grab, much like Russell Crowe is. Tom Hanks, when's the last time he did a good movie?
Yeah, I would be on a money grab too if I could. Anybody want me to grab their money?
I would too, but it's just unfortunate that you've got a guy like Tom Hanks and Russell Crowe that they could look for better material.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Wilson's War, Catch Me If You Can. I really can't remember the last good Tom Hanks movie.
Last year, he was in a movie called Here, and it was supposed to be a big sort of Forrest Gump reunion because it's Tom Hanks and Robin Wright starring in it, and it's directed by Robert Zemeckis.
Yeah, and
I went to see it. It was awful.
But looking at the trailer, I was like, this thing probably has award potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then reading the reviews, I never even watched it.
Yeah, it was just a nothing movie. It takes place all in one house, and then for some reason they also mix in going back in time and seeing the prehistoric people settle that house, and then the colonies, and it was dumb. It jumped around too much and didn't focus on Tom Hanks and Robin Wright.
That's 4 Downs today, brought to you by Bojangles.
And you don't have to pick between sweet and savory anymore. The Bowberry Waffle, the Cajun Chick-fil-A, available for a limited time right now at your local Bojangles. It's bow time.
And our friends at New Life Art, they bring you all the great works of Daniel A. Moore over the years. That includes the legend Nick Saban, 6 national championships, goal line stand, the Rocky Block, and a lot of other great moments in Alabama football history and everything Daniel Moore has done over the years. You can check it all out at DanielMooreArt.com. DanielMooreArt.com. Just go check the website out and wake up some echoes of your favorite memory from a kid as a child. From Alabama, Auburn football, the reverse, some basketball in there as well. DanielMooreArt.com, DanielMooreArt.com, promo code TNR. As we continue on here on the next round, I mentioned that Cooper Flagg won a lot of awards over the weekend. The Naismith Award included Rick Pitino, the sole winner of the Naismith Coach of the Year. They split the AP, he and Bruce Pearl. But the Naismith Coach of the Year, Todd Golden getting no love
I know.
in the Coach of the Year awards, neither in the SEC or anywhere else.
I'm a little surprised because, it's not like there was a huge expectation for Florida. It's a team that lost in the first round last year. I
think they started 21st.
Okay, well, if you start 21st
I
and you
agree.
become such a dominant team in February.
Be a 1 seed?
Yeah, now you're playing for the national championship. Yeah, he should be in the conversation.
Yeah. By the way, Houston's trying to win their first national championship tonight at 7:50. Florida's won a couple of them. Houston went back-to-back years playing for it in 83-84 Phi Slamma Jamma and couldn't get the win. So a different style of play for Houston tonight as they try to get their first national championship. One more hour to go. That includes some football talk. And we'll sort of blend what we saw this weekend into a little big sports theme, because I think this is Auburn's best team ever in basketball. Who are some great college football teams that didn't win a championship that of recent years you remember? We'll talk about that as we continue on the final hour of the show. Brought to you today by our friends at New York Butcher Shop. Tell us about New York Butcher, LT.
I went by there on Friday. I picked up 3 fillets, one for Jace, one for Jack, one for myself. I got some of the goat cheese, mashed potatoes, mac and cheese. Just fantastic food from our man Jim and his great staff there. 2 locations, the original Cahaba Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone as well. From the fresh meats, the incredible sides, fantastic selection of fine wines and desserts, one-stop dinner shop, rare quality, well-done service. It is the New York Butcher Shop.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken. Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The biggest and baddest track in NASCAR is Talladega Super Speedway, and it's ready to put on another amazing show in April. If you've never been to the Talladega Super Speedway, you have to check it out. This beast is 2.5 miles of nothing but pure speed and incredible action at every single turn. Don't miss the Jack Links 500 NASCAR weekend at Talladega Super Speedway, April 25th through 27th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Don't miss the action. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com. The 15th annual Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by AmFirst, is May 9th through the 11th on Logan Martin Lake in Pell City. The Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show is totally free to the public. Bama's biggest in-water boat show, 80 boats, lake lifestyle vendors, food trucks, beer garden, and live music all weekend long. There's fireworks on Friday night to honor veterans, a mermaid parade on Saturday, and free mimosas for Mama on Sunday. All by going to LoganMartinLakeFest.com, LoganMartinLakeFest.com.
The road to the Indy 500 runs through Birmingham, May 2nd through the 4th. The fastest IndyCar drivers in the world, O'Ward, Dixon, and Newgarden will put their skills to the test with one goal in mind: victory. Witness Miss America Abby Stockard give the most iconic command in all of racing as the Grand Marshal. May starts here. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, powered by AmFirst. Tickets are selling fast. Get yours today.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Final hour of the show, we'll go back and revisit Auburn's Final Four loss to Florida and set the table for the national championship. We'll hear more from the locker room on what was a magical season for the Auburn Tigers. They set so many records and won a championship, the Southeastern Conference Championship, so a banner will go up for this team. But it was one of those teams that I think a lot of Auburn fans were thinking about winning it all, the national championship, and playing tonight. Not the case. We'll get back to that and what has gone on in the portal in Tuscaloosa over the weekend, and just the announcement of players who will be coming back. Some more basketball in a second. This hour brought to you by our friends at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, champyschicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Great place to go there and grab some lunch today. It's only 57 degrees today. So we're all over the place. Highs in the high 80s. Now it's 57 today. Nothing better when it's a little colder than you expected than a nice hot meal. How about that brined overnight, cooked to order, southern fried chicken, all the great sides, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, and so much more. Sterling's the man, and he's right there for over a decade at the same location, Highway 119 in Alabaster. It is champyschicken.com. Before we get to the spotlight, I don't want to talk too much about this because, truthfully, I only know a little about this. But the NCAA House settlement hearing is continuing today, winding down. We're expecting on July 1 to have that $20.5 million shared revenue that the schools will be able to pay the players. What they're discussing today, I'm being told, is the discussion about why there'll be a cap at all. That some states, Nebraska and Colorado, have already passed state laws that says that NIL player payment can't be capped. So I don't know what we're doing, why we're wasting our time.
It's got to be universal.
And then what is the penalty if there is a cap and you go over the cap, and who's going to enforce that?
Well, it's just going to go back to exactly what we had in the past, where if you've got a cap, there are going to be programs that have the resources that are going to go over the cap. And you know what that's going to bring back in? The bag man.
Yeah, because what stops Ohio State, I won't even use the locals, I'll just say Ohio State,
right,
from hitting their cap, but then Ohio State booster Jim Thompson Ford wants to go to the quarterback and pay him another $1 million to be a spokesperson for Jim Thompson Ford. What stops that? So,
and that's what they're discussing
today. It's
legal
now, but it's the same process we used to use. Jim Thompson Ford just becomes the bag man. He's just doing it legally now.
But what they want is to stop all the lawsuits. But if I'm a quarterback and somebody wants to pay me $1 million for my name, image, and likeness, how can you legally tell me I can't take that?
That's right.
It's going to be difficult, and you could even get creative with some of this stuff. I mean, we saw Shohei Ohtani. I saw his $71 million a year or $70 million a year disrolled on the biggest salary out there. But how much did he defer? A good majority of it. So, how could you not defer some of these payments too if you are one of these dealerships? I mean, could you set that up? We're not going to pay you right now.
That's right.
But we'll sign this airtight contract where in 5 years you'll get $10 million.
Yeah, you're $1 million against the cap, but we're going to pay you $10 more million 5 years from now.
Yeah, these whoever's representing these athletes, they're going to earn their money.
So you're telling me you agree with what most people I'm reading, that whatever we come out of this settlement, it's not going to stop the lawsuits. It's not going to stop the pain in the ass.
And it's not going to fix. It's not going to fix college
not at all.
sports.
Yeah.
I think we've just opened. I think we were all for, pro athlete. Let's pay them. But I just don't ever think you're going to be able to get a hold of this thing.
But I will also say on the other side of that, there's a lot of talk about sports getting ruined. You gave those TV numbers earlier. Did those sound bad to you?
Best since 2017.
Interesting.
And by the way, that's national championship college football numbers.
Yeah. So what that tells me is if the games are good, people can bellyache all they want about what the sport's becoming. They're still going to watch good games.
And 99%, well, maybe not 99%, 95% of Americans watching Cooper Flag, that guy this year has probably earned more than 95% of the Americans as an 18-year-old. So I think, we're just numb to the fact this is just part of it, and you got to accept it, and there's a reason he's getting paid that kind of money.
I mean, in personal example, some people don't understand it, like my wife didn't. I was, after Auburn lost, I was like, Dylan Cardwell is one of my favorite guys to ever interview. He was just always so nice, and like you said, he has a wit about him. He's humorous, but he's also intelligent. And just a good interview. And so when he lost, I was like, God, he's such a nice guy. I hate this for him. And she'd heard me say, I think in the post-game show, that he lives next to...
Right after the break, we're going to interview Eric.
That he lives right next to a friend of mine who bought a condo down in Auburn. And he's such a nice guy. And so Maggie asked me when I got off the post-show with Taylor, who does he live next to that you know? And I told him who he lives next to.
Like, yeah, these 22-year-old twins. I told you about them, Maggie.
And he was like, he has enough money to live next to our friends, who is their second home, but still is a pretty nice neighborhood that he bought into. And I was like, yeah, they're next door neighbors. They share space. And she, how is that possible? I go, baby, you realize that he's basically a role player. He probably brought in $750,000 this year. Really, and some people have no idea the money that they're bringing in right now. And I mean, Janai Broom, what do you think he brought in this year?
Probably 1.5.
1.5 to 2.
I was going to say 1.4. Yeah. I mean, that's only going up. It's only going up.
And Janai Broom promotes what products?
I can't think of one.
That's the weird thing, because we used to hear that about Bryce Young too, right?
Indeed.
Bryce Young would make...
He looks like the guy on Indeed that lost his engineer, and he sits down. You know which one I'm talking about?
I don't.
Where he's like in a recording studio, and it's like, everything's going well until you lose your engineer, and the engineer gives him the old Sam Elliott-looking engineer, but the guy that's running the studio looks just like Janai Broom.
Yeah.
It really does.
I think I remember that.
Bryce Young was the same thing. We heard he was football's first $1 million player, and we were like, and he promotes what?
Yeah.
And we live in Alabama and couldn't answer that.
Well, I remember he had signed with somebody.
Panini America, which is the trading card or whatever company. But I mean,
I also think there's going to be a way to get creative with whoever, and this is going to be a way for Nike or Under Armour to lock these guys down for a long time. Like, let's get really creative on lifetime shoe deals for certain athletes that you're bringing into these big programs, specifically basketball.
And this gets brought up a lot. Land My Believer is the current one doing it. That Wimp warned y'all of all this, and y'all said no way this stuff would happen. That's not what we said no way to Wimp about.
Yeah.
Wimp was talking about how it would tear apart the locker room and the locker rooms. Wimp was talking from the old coach who always wanted more money, but he didn't want the players to get any. And he was talking about how it would tear apart the locker room. And we said, it's not going to tear apart the locker room. It doesn't in the NFL. The starting center doesn't make anywhere close to what the quarterback makes. They find a way to live in the same world, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
he said it was going to ruin college athletics.
It's going to ruin college athletics.
It has not.
It has not ruined college athletics. You just gave me TV numbers that tell me college basketball must be pretty healthy. That was a pretty big number.
Yeah, and by the way, I would tell you that, and I know everything's personal, but it seems like y'all have enjoyed watching the SEC this year.
I've loved it.
Yeah, this has been my favorite basketball season in my lifetime.
Fantastic college football season, I thought. I thought it was very entertaining.
Entertaining football season. It wasn't my favorite one, but it was an entertaining football season. It was by far my favorite college basketball season of all time because the SEC was so dang good.
Yeah.
Every night in the SEC was fantastic, so it's not ruining college athletics. Let's do our spotlight. College football spotlight, and then we'll get back to the basketball and set the stage for the biggest night on the biggest stage in San Antonio. But first, a little football brought to you by Shunnarah.
The College Football Spotlight.
The Shunnarah Spotlight brought to you today by our guy Alexander Shunnarah and the trial attorneys he has there. More than 150 lawyers supported by more than 500 dedicated team members recovering more than $2 billion. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. The firm now handles not only any personal injury claim, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. It's our guy, Alexander Shunnarah, Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shunnarah.com. That is Shunnarah.com.
Okay, my spotlight today is Oregon football in their quarterback room. Can they go to the well the third time and be just as good at quarterback this year? Remember, it's been Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, and now here's Dante Moore, likely guy or superstar freshman to be the quarterback. Does Oregon's quarterback play fall off this year for the first time in 3 years?
I think it might fall off a little bit. And look, it would be understandable why. Dante Moore coming in, 5-star guy, signs with UCLA. But the difference is, you think about how much football Bo Nix played at Auburn and how much football Dylan Gabriel played at UCF, then Oklahoma, then Oregon. So he just doesn't have the reps. I will say, my personal belief, Will Stein's offense is so innovative, it's so up-tempo that any of these really talented guys are going to put up big numbers. I just don't think the numbers will be as big as Bo and Dylan put up just based on the fact that he doesn't have the experience. But I think he's going to be really good.
I will tell you, Brown, they hit the portal really well. They've got a rebuilt 4 really good offensive linemen they brought in.
Yeah.
So the offensive line is supposed to be a little bit better.
You would say it fell off a little bit from Bo Nix to Dylan Gabriel.
Just a little bit.
But it does,
just a little bit.
It does feel like the fall off will be bigger.
I thought the team was better.
Maybe so.
But I thought the quarterback play was a little bit better for Bo.
It does feel like it's going to drop off a little more than that from Gabriel
but again,
to
I think
Moore.
the team's getting better. I think Lanning is learning what he's doing on the fly. You know, I was one of those. I don't know if Lanning's ever going to win a championship. Still don't, because we've never seen Oregon do it. But they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's the spotlight today, brought to you by our friend Alexander Shunnarah.
Yeah, you don't pay unless they win your case at Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. If you're in need of a trial attorney, Shunnarah.com, Shunnarah.com for Alexander Shunnarah Trial Attorneys. We've got a little bit of breaking news here. It's not going to surprise anyone, I don't think, but it is at least kind of a brings the story full circle. Jonathan Gavani, who is with Draft Express, is reporting right now that Tahaad Pettiford will declare for the 2025 NBA draft while also maintaining his NCAA eligibility. This is from his agency, WME, and they have told this to ESPN. So that is kind of closing the circle on that audio we played from Tahaad Pettiford a little bit when he says he hopes to be back at Auburn. He's at least going to test the draft waters. They have him ESPN's number 39 draft prospect. That would be outside the first round, would not be guaranteed money. If that's the type of feedback he gets, he'll be back at Auburn.
Well, and I think that's what he's going to get. Again, it only takes 1 of 30 to fall in love and maybe almost guarantee you a spot in the first round, but I think it's a little too risky. I mean, if I was part of the representation for Tahaad Pettiford, I'd be like, I would come back 1 year. It's going to be different because you're going to be a starter. I'm sure that's what he wants, though. But, I mean, he's going to be a first-team All-SEC guy. I haven't even looked at the landscape of what's coming back. I don't care. Pettiford is a first-team guard coming back.
You'd say the same thing for LeBaron Philon, that you would come back for sure?
I would.
Do you think he'd be a first-teamer, sight unseen?
Maybe.
I believe I'm right about this. Philon's projected as a higher draft pick right now than Pettiford.
That is correct.
So you're losing. I mean, just think about the guards. Clayton and Sears are obviously gone. Ziegler's gone. I mean, just help me out on some of the guards that won't be back this year. So
the kid from Georgia left and is going to UConn. Silas Demery, whatever his name was. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Philon, Pettiford, both are probably first-team guards. Yeah.
Yeah. And Philon right now, I mean, it can change when they go through the draft
Boogie,
process.
Boogie Flan's not coming back, right? He's gone. I mean, I think most of your top guards are either expiring eligibility, like a Clayton or a Sears.
What about the kid at Mississippi State?
Josh Hubbard, yeah, he'd be one.
Well, I would say though, I mean, I think Pettiford's good enough. He'll be invited to the NBA Combine.
Right.
I would think. I mean, if they think he's number 39,
and that's when we learn his true
and
size.
that's what I was about to say. That's when we'll know: is it Bruce Pearl's 5'11"? Is it Auburn Media Guide 6'2", or somewhere in between?
Yeah, but if he's 6 feet, I mean, with his ability to jump, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, but Philon disappeared a lot during some games, and Pettiford 7 points in the biggest game of the year the other day. Both those guys have disappeared at times. Makes me a little hesitant on seeing them at the NBA level, but
I think, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. We know a little bit more about Philon. Again, I think he can solidify himself as a first-round guy. But for Pettiford, if I'm one of these NBA scouts, I look at it, I've never seen the guy start. Like, I'd love to see him start for a year and really see what the production could look like.
Okay, more on tonight's game and on Auburn's season. I got to tell you about a couple of our sponsors. One of them, my friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. More storms came in early Sunday morning. If you had any storm damage, it only takes one shingle to out of place to get a water entry point that will cause major problems upstairs at your house. So get it checked out from Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. It's a free, no-cost roof inspection. Absolutely free, no obligation. Call the number 205-542-3531, 542-3531. Greg from Pell City on Facebook. A-plus rated with a Better Business Bureau. What are you getting with Greg? Well, he's a trustworthy guy. He's been local for over 20 years. He and his wife run the company. He's got kids and son-in-laws that work on the crews, so he's not going anywhere. He's here to stay, and that is so important with roofing people, especially during storm season, who some fly-by-night operations may not be there next week, so a warranty doesn't matter. Greg backs up his work. Great guy to deal with, so trustworthy. I recommend him 100% at 205-542-3531. 542-3531 or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And the show also brought to you today by our friends right there at NASCAR Browning.
They are coming back to the Talladega Super Speedway April 25th through 27th. It is the Jacklings 500 weekend. I will continue to say this. If you've lived any time in the state of Alabama and have never been to Talladega Super Speedway, I don't care if you're a NASCAR fan, you'll love it. It is a blast. It is just turn after turn of white knuckle speed and power, and you can't replicate the sound. You can't replicate the people you're around. It's a remarkable weekend all around. I highly, highly recommend it. TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com to get your spot at the Jacklings 500 weekend, April 25th through 27th. Go now to TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
After the loss on Saturday, Bruce Pearl was asked what he would say to Tahaad Pettiford, who Brownie just told you is now reported going through the NBA draft process, leaving open the possibility of coming back to Auburn. Here is Bruce.
What do you say to Tahaad after tonight's game?
Well, I haven't talked to him yet. He's been sensational all season long. And I know that, he's going to be disappointed because he wasn't elite tonight like he's always been. Give again Florida credit. There's real size in their backcourt and real size in their front court, and again, if he had a better coach, he'd have got him cleaner looks, and he would have had a few more open shots, and that probably would have helped him, play a little better. But if there are 5 of the top freshmen in college basketball this year, Tahaad Pettiford is absolutely one of them. And I'm so incredibly proud of him. And I know his teammates are. I trust him.
I mean, Taylor goes on to point out, she was able to read the article, little T was, while we were on the air here, that Jonathan Givney sent out. The quote in the article is, "If I return, it will be to Auburn." And this is from Pettiford. "I can't leave this type of situation. I trust BP with all my heart, so I'll roll with him. Loyalty is important to me." So this is not some play, it doesn't appear in the portal, that I'm going to go to the highest bidder. It sounds like it's either NBA or Auburn for Pettiford.
Well,
right
look,
now.
with Broom gone now, I mean, your focus would be, if you're NIL part of this collective, is Pettiford. I mean, whatever he wants, I mean, we're going to start with him, and then we'll figure out the rest of the roster on the backside. I really hope he comes back. I'm sure Auburn fans are dying for the guy to come back. Everybody else in the SEC is good riddance. Get out of here, because this kid is going to be special.
Yeah. Now tonight's special national championship game, 7:50, Florida and Houston, where Florida gets there by knocking out Auburn, the number 1 overall seed. Houston gets there by knocking out Duke, the most popular pick to be national champion. So we get Florida and Houston tonight. Let's hear from the two coaches. Let's go first, cut number 10, Tyler. Kelvin Sampson, who you guys have been just loving on, wanting to see this guy win a championship.
I do want to see it.
Yeah, I do too.
He's been to a lot of places.
Yep.
And he finally looks old.
He really does.
He's been knocked down. He got back up again, and he has talked about.
He's still thumping.
Yeah, he talks about his team maturity after that comeback win over Duke. This is yesterday, and the availability now that they know they're playing Florida.
Yeah, just real proud of our guys from just being able to hang in there and wait for something good to happen. Sometimes if you keep playing and you get an opportunity, then you're in a position to do something with it. But if you don't have the right mindset or the right maturity. But our defense was really good there about the last 10 minutes or so. So I was proud of them for hanging in there. And, our lives are so consumed by our next game, your next game. And I'm glad last night was not our last game, that we do have a next game.
Outside of Olajuwon, Clyde Drexler, Elvin Hayes, guys that you will see courtside tonight, Houston greats. I mean, if they close the deal, LJ Cryer winning, and he still could be your most outstanding player, winning one at Baylor as a role guy, and then winning one here. He's had one of the greatest college basketball histories in Texas basketball.
No, you're absolutely right.
I don't want to throw out anything incorrect, but did I see where he'd be the first person to win 2 national championships at 2 different schools?
I could believe that.
I can believe it,
I don't know
yeah.
what else you would think of.
I mean,
it's going to be pretty recent.
Yeah,
for that to happen.
In role guys, we just wouldn't talk about, but a guy like Cryer, I mean, in football, who is an alpha that's won at 1-2?
I can't think of one. One at both at 2 places. Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't happen a whole lot, and it would have to be pretty recent.
I do think it's pretty awesome. He said that he's getting texts from Popovich and Tom Izzo. Basically said all the old coaches are saying win one for the old guy. But, with his daughter and son on staff, it'd be really, really cool. And you just wonder how much longer Kelvin Sampson's got.
Did I give the stat from – I don't think I did. So before Saturday night, there had been 355 games in NCAA tournament history. 355.
That's it?
No, hang on. 355 games in NCAA tournament history where a team had led in field goal percentage, free throws. They won the turnover battle. They had more steals, and they had more assists. Okay?
All the stats.
Just 5 normal stats, though, not like crazy stuff, not offensive boards or anything.
No. But the 5 big stat
the
categories.
5 big stat
all
categories.
5 categories, yeah.
Those teams are 355-0 before Saturday night.
I saw that, yeah.
I mean, that
That's
just
crazy.
puts into perspective how insane that either comeback or collapse was, whichever way you want to paint it.
So Duke led every major category.
That's right.
But lost the game first time in NCAA tournament history.
In the history of the NCAA tournament, the teams that led those categories were 355-0.
Wow.
Before Saturday night. And Duke is the only one to have ever done that.
I don't think, the bad thing for Houston, I don't think Alex Condon is going to have the game that he had the other night against Auburn, but at the same time, is Elijah Martin going to be as good as he was?
That's right.
Well, what's fascinating is to see what Houston's able to do with Clayton. I mean, I know that seems like the most simplified breakdown of this game you could give, but, I mean, nobody is stopping Clayton. This is the best. Kelvin Sampson is one of the best defensive coaches we've ever seen. Can they slow Clayton down? I mean, slowing Clayton down is 20 points.
Yeah, I mean, if he pulls another Bird, I mean, going back, the last guy to have 30-plus in back-to-back games this deep in the tournament was Larry Bird back in 1979. If he goes 30-plus, it's over for Houston. But I think Houston's guards are good enough defensively. You hold this guy to 25 or less,
that's a
good
win.
Night. Yeah.
That's exactly right, especially if the bigs aren't scoring at the rate that Auburn was able to hold them to on Saturday. Give me 11, cut 11, Tyler. Todd Golden. We'll hear from the Gators coach here. He's talking about analytics and the importance of just being tough against Houston. Because remember, for the first half, down 8 at the half, Auburn was tougher than Florida. So they had to man up in the second half. They got to do it for 40 minutes this evening to win a national championship.
It's funny analytically, like us in Houston, on Ken Palmer, efficiency margin is like within 0.1 of each other over 100 possessions, and obviously we're an elite offensive team and a top 10 defensive team. They're a top 10 offensive team and elite defensive team, and so I do think it's going to be a contrasting little battle that way to see who can, hopefully we can get the game up and down a little bit. They're going to impose their will just as they've done on everybody this year, and we're a pretty tough team also, so. We're going to have to do a better job than we did last night. I thought first half we let Auburn take it to us a little bit. We can't allow that to happen tomorrow night. But they're absolutely an elite team, and the way they guard, they're going to make it really hard on us. I think they'll pressure the ball screen and try to get the ball out of Walt's hands, but they rotate, they're long, and they just play so hard and they're so tough that we're going to have to have great mental and physical toughness for 40 minutes if we want to give ourselves a great chance tomorrow night.
All right, so if you missed the start of the show, LT is out. Had Duke winning it all, but how many of the Final Four teams did you have? 3. 3 of the Final Four.
It's not a high bar because everybody had.
I had 3 of the Final Four. My finals are playing tonight. I had Florida beating Houston. Brownie, you had 3 of 4?
I had 3. Michigan State was the team I had beating Auburn that did not get there.
Yeah, I had Alabama beating Duke, didn't get there.
Yeah.
And you had Clemson.
It's funny, and I'm glad I clarified this because Dunaway Friday in the Hall was like, hey, should we talk about what we're going to wear with the spray tan? And I was like, not really, because if we and this before, and I still thought Duke was going to win it at this point. I really did. But I told Dunaway, if we dress up with a leisure suit that you brought out, then it's gonna be known that we were doing it as a joke. The funniest thing thought.
Oh, I was putting Scott's mic on because he had a great idea, and it was that the loser has to get their teeth professionally whitened. And then we also threw out the idea of rocking a white suit to.
But there again, to Lance's point, the white suit's just going to draw attention to I lost a bet.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, Forster, it's more so 9 out of 10 people that don't really know us, but they might know us, might be like, damn, he thinks a spray-on tan looks good. He's wearing that coming to media days?
Now, I can't take credit for the teeth whitening thing. I think that was in a DM, but I think that would really pop.
But
really
we were thinking the same thing because I was
too late now.
Yeah, I was on. I mean, I brought it up to LT. I was like, if I lose this, I'm thinking about getting a baby blue leisure suit and a gold chain and wearing that one day, and then the next day in a Jimmy Buffett, T-Bob A-Bear top.
Yeah, for Dunaway to come out. Dunaway wanted to make sure because your fear was that people would really think that you wanted the spray tan.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were trying to make it obviously.
I was going to show up in a LSU baseball uniform like Doring.
I just think the non-obvious is better.
So
what
are you planning on wearing?
Oh, I don't know. I'll wear some kind of white to
really make it pop.
Yeah, a little bit, but normal clothes. Because I thought we weren't supposed to talk about it.
That's the whole thing.
Because it is so easy. If Ron Slay sits down, he's like, "Damn, dude! What's going on here?" If I'm like, what are you talking about? I can't be I lost a bet and I had to get a spray tan. I mean, that's going to take a lot of it away. If I just own it and act like I'm there to be sprayed.
You've got to own it like you made this decision.
Yeah, if anybody asks me about it, I'm just going to be like,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it because it's not me.
That's coming, anything. That's coming up in July at SEC Media. And this is one of those where the payoff when it's happening.
Yeah, and look, and we'll do the video of me getting sprayed.
Yeah, EG is owning that.
I mean, I don't know what that entails. I mean, do I have to get in a whacker packer?
Yeah, first of all, it's a banana sling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta get that whole body as much as we can.
Or Yeah, no.
What were you caught yourself. What were you going to say?
Well, I mean, I would imagine some people do totally nude.
I don't think that's. I don't want to spray my junk.
Yeah, I'm with Tyler. That is risky.
Yeah,
my balls is orange.
I understand.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
I mean, I'll do whatever you guys want, but I do think it needs to be more on the down low where we just know about it. I mean, there's going to be some people that'll know about it that might, listen to our show here and there.
I just for EG's sake, I think we'll let Brown be the videographer on the final stages of this.
I won. You ought to do it. You're second.
Well, I mean, Forster has this. Can we get Forster's microphone? Can we not rig up the? Can we rig up the thing you use to videotape your daughter's softball games? Rig that up in the spray room and let that be the camera of choice.
Yeah, we can probably make that happen.
Yeah, I've never done it. I assume you step into a shower-like
facility,
right?
I guess. Step into a vat and it just sprays you from all angles?
I assume so. I've
never had a spray tan.
Yeah. I have no experience with this.
None.
I assume it's like the Krispy Kreme tray that back when Krispy Kreme had
glaze.
You're just gonna walk in.
You just lay down and it sprays a glaze on top of you.
It has to
and
be.
then something flips you over and then it glazes the other side.
Because you can tell, and maybe people that have really good spray cans, but you can always tell, the hands.
Yeah, the feet and the hands are where it's.
It's really disgusting.
There's always one little thing that they miss.
That's what's going to be great about you.
I don't know about the sun is free. I know it's not great for you, but these chemicals you spray on can't be great for you either, right?
Yeah, I guess you got to do your hands like this.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, day before, and they said it will be a week or two before it washes off. Oof. And I'm like, what about if I just lay in the pool all day? And they're like, still not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I envision it stinking.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not as bad as tanning beds used to stink in the 90s.
Oh, I know.
They
were burning your flesh.
That has
Do I have to do the little Playboy bunny on my...
Visibly, it's got to be...
I'll leave that up to you and your camera person.
Yeah, right there on the neck. Don't say a word about it. Slade probably be like, I'm inviting you to the boom room.
Right,
I needed you in San Antonio to make it less boring. All right, when we come back, we'll do trash. Show being brought to you today by a couple of great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Guys, stay on top of your health, whether it's prostate health to kidney stones, anything in between, they'll help you. Great locations, 16 of them in our viewing area that can help you. Early detection, so important, guys. 205-930-0920, 930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. 35 urologists that are there to help you. And as I said, move from the 20s to 30s, 30s to 40s, and so on. You'll want to make sure that you stay on top of your health, guys, with our friends at urologycentersalabama.com and our friends at mybookie.ag.
Where right now you'll find the Florida Gators a 1-point favorite in tonight's national championship game as they take on the Houston Cougars. Total of 141 in that one. You want to play some Major League Baseball, you can do that right there at mybookie.ag, and you can pick from any or all the Major League games there, and also the Masters. You want to play the Masters? Scotty Scheffler is your favorite right now, plus 460. Scheffler plus 450, Roy McIlroy plus 650. You can play anybody there in the Masters as well. Play all that and anything at mybookie.ag. Code next round when you sign on, get you that sign-on bonus of 50% up to $1,000. And mybookie.ag is throwing in a $10 casino chip. That's all for you right there at mybookie.ag. Code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Code next round. Trash is next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, you. Days warming up, looking like spring. And at New Balance Birmingham, we've got the thing. What pops and what's fresh? Check the selects. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Birmingham's fastest party returns to Barber Motorsports Park May 2nd through 4th. Medical Properties Trust presents the Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Experience 3 days of high-speed action featuring the fastest drivers in the world from the IndyCar Series. Enjoy the Kids Zone, food trucks, beer garden, Ferris wheel, fan zone, and more. The Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix powered by AmFirst. Kids 15 and under get in free. Get your tickets now.
I'm attorney Alexander Shunnarah, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Back with you on the Next Round. Trash in just a second. It is Monday at the Masters. 96 golfers. Weather shaky today. And then it will clear up and turn into a beautiful week with azaleas and all the fun stuff that goes on over there. Vlad Guerrero Jr. signs with the Blue Jays. 14 years, $500 million.
Man, you remember when, was it?
And by the way, I'm concerned with this deal a little bit.
Was it Bryce Harper that wanted a 10-year deal and everybody was like, boy, you do not do those 10-year deals.
Yeah.
Now we've got 14-year deals?
I mean, you've seen inconsistencies. When Vlad is really good, he's great.
Right.
But, I mean, he's just had a couple of lull years, though.
He's on my fantasy baseball team that we have up here this year. And
we have a fantasy team up here?
Yeah, we, me, Forrester, E.G., and Reed are in, and then some people outside. Ush is in it. There's only 8 people.
Didn't know anything about it.
And
would you have done it?
I don't know, maybe.
It's a lineup every day.
I mean, if we were doing it internally, yeah. I mean, I did football.
It's a lot of work. I'll tell you.
This is a little bit more labor intensive than that.
One weekend, I'll tell you, I'm 3.
Are y'all saying I don't like to work?
No, you work too much on other things, important things. That this is, I don't know. It's a lot. I'll tell you.
Who's winning?
Not me. One
Forrester?
weekend, I'm 3-7.
3-7.
I think Chris McCulley of 3340 is 10-0.
Wow.
Yeah, you get 10 games every week.
Can't do better than that.
Yeah, he swept old Johnny.
Yeah. But my point is, if you're expecting Guerrero to have a down year, this is the year because he's on my team. And 14-year, $500 million contract, third highest in baseball history. He'll be 40 when the contract ends up there in Toronto. That's our Michelson look at some of the other things that happened this weekend away from basketball, brought to you by Michelson Laser Vision.
205-969-8100. That is the number I called more than 2 decades ago. I had the 2200 vision. I was legally blind without the aid of contacts. After the procedure, 2015 vision, better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. Dr. Mark Michelson, true pioneer, first to perform the LASIK procedure in the state of Alabama back in 1995. His daughter, Jen Michelson, also there. They are the best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
You brought it up earlier in the viewing menu. I wanted to give you time to talk about this, but White Lotus season finale last night. 3 seasons. They sort of hinted at a 4th season last night at the end if you watched the after show.
I didn't know there was an after show. Now, they've already come down to 2 locations for the new White Lotus.
They didn't announce it. Remember last year afterwards, they announced where the next one was going to be.
So I was talking to... So you and I are in agreement. Season 1 was the best.
1, 2, and 3 in that
And
order.
Jennifer and I just started season 1.
Maggie's doing season 1.
And what
3
makes
episodes in is really good.
Season 1 is Murray Bartlett, the guy that actually plays Armand. He's an Australian actor.
Right.
But that is one of the greatest performances, one individual performance in a season of television history. He's that good. So that's why it was so good. But anyway, I was at that location when we were in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago, the location for the first White Lotus at the Four Seasons there. And I was talking to a bartender that had been there for 7 years, so she was there when they were filming. And she was telling me that she heard from some of the producers that they've narrowed it down to Egypt or Mexico. So season 4 is getting done. It's greenlit, but they just haven't come up with the location.
By the way, I have some really good friends that just went to Egypt on a trip and were blown away. I've never thought of Egypt as a place I would just want to go, but they're like, it was incredible.
Yeah. So he hinted, though, I think in the after show that
where did they do an after show? They do it on HBO?
Yeah, it's on HBO. It's they recap, and then at the end of the recap, he's like, obviously, season 4, there's more murders to happen at White Lotuses, but we haven't picked our destination yet. But he said something about maybe we'll get away from waves crashing on the rocks. So maybe that was his hint to Egypt.
Okay.
A lot of waves crashing on rocks.
Well, I don't necessarily know that you need carnage. You don't actually have to have somebody dead, do you? I mean, I know it went from 1 dead to a lot dead to multiple deaths in this one, but I mean, it's a little... I mean, if that was a true hotel chain, if White Lotus was having people die at all the resorts...
They'd be out of business by now.
I mean, the reviews are going to be pretty sketchy, right?
I would agree.
All right, let's do...
But I thought it was like a B. What about you? I mean, I thought the characters were good. It just never got over that hump that you were just wanting. Once they got on that big boat, and I think episode 5 or 6, I was like, here we go.
Yep.
And they just never got
because
there.
That's the way it goes. It's slow building. Each episode gets a little faster, and then the last 2 usually crazy. But I'm like you. It just never kicked into gear for me. B seems to be high, but I'll take a B.
Speaking of TV shows, when we get to trash here in a sec, we had the disturbing humanoid story that we're harvesting soulless humans for meat. This story a buddy sent me, it's not as disturbing, but it's disturbing.
Oh, boy.
I will tell you that Maggie brought your name up last night because
she was watching Justified.
She grilled up some pork chops, and I was quickly was going to go back to my sports room and watch something. And she's like, hey, you want to start a new show? It's on Netflix. It's called Adolescence, and it's getting rave reviews. And I'm like, sure. So I sat down on the couch to start watching it with, and I said, so tell me, she's queuing it up. I said, tell me what this is about. And she goes, basically, it's about, one boy that kills a girl. I said, kills? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm out. And she's like, why? You're out? And I said, I need something. If I'm going to eat and watch the show and us hang out together, I need it to be funny. I need
a Dear Zachary.
Yeah, I need it to be funny, upbeat. And she was like, it's 99% critically acclaimed on Rotten Tomatoes.
It wasn't that good, by the way.
And
it's been getting a lot of hype. It's based on a true story, but they changed some of the story because, of course, they do.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Yeah. First couple episodes good, but
well, I told her I'm out. I'm not going to watch it. So I grabbed my plate and started to walk up, and she said, "Quote: If Lance says this is the best television show ever, you cannot watch it. You can't watch it because you refuse to watch it with me."
You know what? I don't think you would love it. So
thank you. I don't think I would either.
I don't think it's for you either.
I don't think so either. Let's do trash.
Congratulations, The Cure Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees 2019. Are you as excited as I am?
By the sounds of it, no.
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
So I'm going to go on and start with the story. I would end with it, but I'm afraid my computer's about to die.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
Hustle.
So, buddy Zach sent it to us. He's a big listener. Sent it to me over the weekend, and I was like, this can't be real. And then I followed up and found the article, and it is. But Severance, which I tapped out 3 episodes to go.
I forgot to bring that up. I caught up. I watched it to the end.
How about
the last 3 episodes were fantastic.
The finale's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, the last 3 episodes were fantastic.
I would at least, Lance, finish this season just for the season finale.
I've planned on it. I just don't know if I'm going to go back to the well.
Yeah, don't do that, but the season finale is worth getting to.
How about this? A shocking new study found that over 1/3 of real-life employees and nearly half of Gen Zs polled would prefer to be severed, like their favorite characters in the hit Apple TV Severance.
It would feel different if I didn't live in the most dismal place on the planet. And I don't know where it's supposedly set.
Yeah,
it looks like North Dakota.
I mean, it just is dismal there all the time. It's always dark. It's always snowy. It's always cold.
See, I'm always wondering, is it in the future?
I don't really know.
Post-Armageddon? I don't know.
But like if you had the
we get no time reference at all.
We don't. If you had the same setup in a tropical location, you might feel different about it. They work in the crappiest location in the world.
Here are some of the numbers. Out of the 2,000 UK workers surveyed, a startling 35% said they would willingly undergo a medical procedure to sever their work memories from their personal lives, according to data gathered by market research agency Savanta on behalf of mental health platform Unmind. Now, among 18 to 25-year-olds, figures rose to a staggering 46% among workers aged 55 and over. Only 1 in 5 would want to be severed.
But some of my best life memories have been made through work relationships.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I wouldn't want to. I mean, there are obviously.
No, but I think it's more you're
not
trying
having to go to work ever.
Yeah. But I think you're more trying to get away from your real life, right? You want to forget that when you go to work.
Yeah, but in this case, you never bring work home because you don't even know what you're doing at work.
Yeah.
So there is a plus to that. I'm with Dunaway. We've worked in unique situations.
That's
though.
right. We have a great job.
I don't know if everybody has worked in the situations
I've
we've worked
had
in.
2 situations where I wouldn't mind being severed or just sever the individual. I don't think I'd want to do this.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't because, I mean, for me, work has been going to Final Fours.
Yeah, that's right.
No, it would be impossible for what we do.
It's impossible for us.
If you work a 9 to 5 where there's really nothing you take home, I mean, you know, I'm seeing clients and different things.
If I was working the same place they're working, I probably wouldn't want to take it home either. I kind of like the severed idea. I just don't want to live in that environment.
Yeah, I mean, you asked Taylor, just got back from San Antonio.
She
don't want to be severed.
Okay, over a third, just a couple of more numbers from this, of the survey respondents, 38% said they have a, quote, work persona that is different from their real self outside of work. Over 30% employees feel like their job takes up too much of their identity and makes separating their personal and professional lives a living nightmare. Moreover, 41% of people struggle to, quote, switch off after work, and 40% have been contacted by their employer outside of business hours. 44% regularly check work emails or messages outside of work hours.
Yeah. I mean, that's just, I don't.
Truthfully, are you severed? You always used to tell us, man, once that radio light goes off.
That's true.
I don't think about it again until the
next time. It's a little bit different that you're an owner operator.
It has been different.
It has been a little bit different, but I still I do my very best not to handle things that are associated here while I'm at home.
Yeah.
Like I try, if I have to make phone calls, to do it while I'm in the car.
You were
or
really
put it
good
off
at
till the
that
next
back
day.
in the radio days.
In the radio days, I mean, when I was just working radio, I never brought it home.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little bit different when you own part of the company. I'm not going to deny that. But I'll tell you what I definitely do is when I am on vacation, if I am away from here, I do my very best to not read any emails associated. And it's nothing that I dislike about here. It's just that's the whole purpose of vacation, is to unplug and get away from it and be with my family and be present with them and not constantly be thinking about stuff here. So I really try. In fact, I set my phone, and it works most of the time on the personal setting, which doesn't involve any of you guys, unfortunately. Well, y'all aren't family. I mean, you're family, but you're not immediate family.
I'm not going to take it personal.
No, I love you.
In a surprising mix of faith and flying elbows, St. Peter's Church in Shipley has become home to a unique blend of religion and wrestling. It's known as the Wrestling Church. The initiative brings live wrestling matches into the sacred space, complete with roaring crowds, body slams, and stained glass windows.
It actually looks pretty cool. I don't know what looks so cool about it.
Now, the idea comes from Gareth Thompson, 37-year-old Christian and lifelong wrestling fan, who says both Jesus and wrestling helped him through the tough times.
Okay.
Quote, wrestling is all about good versus evil, he told the AP. When I became a Christian, I started seeing Bible stories in the wrestling ring like David and Goliath or Cain and Abel, and I thought, we could tell these stories here. Now, once a nightclub, the building is now filled with nearly 200 people each month, from excited children to tattooed wrestling fans, all gather under the church's art ceilings for what Thompson calls, quote, organized mayhem. Now, a short prayer is followed by 2 hours of action with fans cheering and waving foam fingers as wrestlers tumble through the aisles. Now, the priest in charge, Reverend Natasha Thomas, admitted to the AP that she wasn't quite sure what she was agreeing to at first. She went on to say it was definitely not the kind of church service most people are used to, but it brings in a whole new community that we wouldn't otherwise see. This is kind of like in a totally different level what Floribama does with the worship on the water.
That's right. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, Austin 316. You get a lot going in there.
I like the idea, man. Find creative ways to reach people with the gospel, right? It's going to bring some people in that would normally come.
I'd like him maybe to cover up his offering plate.
I don't disagree, Jim.
That is the guy who started it.
Okay, that's the founder of the church.
Yeah.
Okay.
It says in the article he always wears a shirt that says, "Pray, eat, wrestle, repeat."
Yeah. I wish that shirt went a little longer.
I agree. Now, there are a lot of people, Jim, that complain about what people wear to church. I'm not one of those people. I focus on the fact you've actually made the effort to be at church and you want to draw closer to the Lord. I don't really care what you dress like. There are, certain areas where I would say I prefer you maybe cover things. Yep. And that would be one of them right there.
But
especially if you're going to lead the service.
Keep in mind, originally in the Garden of Eden, there was no clothing.
That is true.
And then we recognized our shame and got the fig leaf.
This is pretty cool. While only a few fans have gone on to attend the traditional Sunday services, Wrestling Church has already baptized 30 people in its first year.
How about that?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Woo! That's a win right there.
That is. Deputies in Nevada claim that they have seized 7 tigers this week. Now, according to the Nye County Sheriff's Office, deputies issued search warrant for Carl Mitchell and the property he was living at on Wednesday morning. Authorities say he has owned the tigers for several years, but has been violating county ordinances and special condition permits. Mitchell was charged with resisting an officer, as the sheriff's office said he cooperated at first, then struggled with the deputy. He was ultimately taken to the ground and arrested. Quote, we intended to seize the cats, number 1, for public safety, number 2, for the safety of the cats, and then he struggled with the deputy. Sheriff said Mitchell made threatening remarks as deputies were arriving, which is why they had to work quickly to complete the operation safely. Mitchell told deputies he would release the animals if deputies came after him. Sheriff said the tigers were in a large fenced enclosure with locks on them, and that the sheriff's office was working to move the animals into a sanctuary.
Yeah, Big Cat Encounters, the name of his company, by the way.
Is that the operation that sent that Mike the Tiger replacement to the LSU Alabama game?
I remember they had a name. I don't think it was Big Cat Encounters, but it sounds like they probably have the stock to do it if needed in the future.
The wild thing is he owns this business, but he claimed the tigers were emotional support animals, like service dogs.
Of course, why not?
That I'm renting out to parties and events.
Yes.
That allows me to take them on flights.
Our man Joe Exotic is still in the pen, right?
Yep, and not in the White House.
Yeah.
He did not get elected, as it turns out.
He had a good, what was his
platform?
Yeah.
I really can't remember. Him getting pardoned,
I think we're going to get this shit right or something like that.
Something like that.
It didn't really work on the shirt.
BS or something.
Draper man facing criminal charges after police say he filmed himself fleeing from police and acting like he was in a video game, Grand Theft Auto.
GTA?
Now, sometimes it will get me on some of these reels that come out. I'm like, holy hell, did this really happen? And it's GTA.
Yeah.
Now, the 19-year-old man charged with failing to respond to an officer's signal to stop and obstruction, third-degree felonies, reckless endangerment, a Class A misdemeanor, reckless driving, a Class B misdemeanor, and using a phone while driving, a Class C misdemeanor. Now, the incident happened February 20th when an officer attempted to pull over a vehicle that had no license plate. They went on to say, quote, the sedan accelerated. The officer then also turned on his siren. The sedan ran a red light, almost colliding with another vehicle before proceeding at speeds up to 95 miles per hour. Now, in the first video, the defendant is recording himself driving while the vehicle can be heard accelerating and talking about, quote, cops chasing him. In the second video, the defendant is again recording himself saying, I'm in GTA, bro, and holding up a black handgun.
Oh, no.
Third video shows the man recording police in his rearview mirror. The charges state the videos were posted all on social media.
So he's really just trying to live the GTA game. I mean, that's his whole purpose here. Good shot.
Shocking amount of people do that.
Do they really, Tyler?
Oh yeah, they'll post videos of them committing crimes.
Wow.
Now, when I walked to the car on Friday, there were two dudes going down 459. You know, we got a pretty good glimpse to it. And they were both on motorcycles, and they were going no less than 130, 140.
And this
is at 1 o'clock, 1:30.
Just the crotch rockets.
Yeah.
And the cops really, I mean, there's nothing they can do about that. They can't catch them. I mean...
Yeah, and I mean, what do we want them to, like, chase people down the crowded interstate?
Yeah, I mean, there's the risk reward on that. I agree.
You can't outrun the law, though.
Yeah, but if somebody...
No, you can call ahead. You got cameras catch
a lot of people aren't
catch them.
paying attention, but if you switch lanes with one of those at the wrong time...
Game over. You're going to be fine. Your car is going to be damaged. A guy on the motorcycle, it's
you say that. If he's going 130 and you're going 80 and he hits the back end, I mean, I guess it just depends.
I think he would just go through the car.
Yeah.
But what if he projectiles through and hits you?
Well, that's a problem.
Or you got a couple of kids in the back seat.
That's a possibility.
So an American tourist set off alone last week on an inflatable boat for the remote island of North Sentinel in the Indian Ocean. Now, he packed a Diet Coke and a coconut as an offering for the highly isolated tribe that lives there. Also brought along a GoPro camera in hopes of filming the encounter, according to the Indian police. I have actually seen people come up on this island before, and this is the easiest way to get killed.
Yeah. By the way,
100%.
He's not holding a Diet Coke or coconut. He's holding a rifle with ammo.
Yeah.
Now, guided by his GPS navigation, the man, Mikhailo Polikov, 24 years old, reached the northeastern shore of the island at 10 a.m. on March 29th, scanned the land with binoculars, saw no one, so he climbed to shore, left the Diet Coke and the coconut there, took sand samples, and recorded a video, according to police. Now, Mr. Polikov was arrested March 31st when he returned to Port Blair. This is more than 800 miles east of India's mainland, according to authorities. Few outsiders have been to the island of North Sentinel, which is a territory of India, as illegal to visit. Indian government regulations prohibit any outsider interaction with its isolated tribe, whose members hunt with bow and arrow and have killed intruders for stepping onto their shore. If you do a Google guide on this, people that go onto that shore, they don't come off.
They do not live. No.
There was a missionary who visited maybe 2018-ish, and he steps onto the beach with his Bible, ready to spread the word, and they killed him immediately and buried him on the beach.
He was trying to get them to God. They got him to God.
Yeah. Yep.
A lot quicker than he intended.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And our final thought today, brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+.
It is AlabamaBathRemodels.com. That's the website, AlabamaBathRemodels.com. Scott showing you before and after of the bathrooms in the Brown house. They can do the same in yours. When it came to time to redo the master bath in our house, my wife jumped on the internet, scoured that puppy. She found Brad Bell. I'm glad she did. He did tremendous work at our house. He can do the same at yours. He specializes in the master bathrooms, the kitchen, and the master bedroom closets. You can see photos of all of that, a lot of before and afters, at AlabamaBathRemodels.com, or give Brad a call, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758, AlabamaBathRemodels.com.
All right, national championship game tonight, 7:50 on CBS. It is Florida and Houston, two number one seeds, only the 11th time that's happened. And for another year, Ken Palm's top-rated teams, 4 of the top 5 rated Ken Palm teams of all time, this year being Duke. 4 of the top 5 all-time metric teams on Ken Palm are not national champions.
Do you know what the one little thing we might lose this year is that every national championship since whenever has been won by a team ranked in the AP Top 12 Week 6. Houston was not there because they had 2 losses at the time.
Alabama and Auburn.
Yeah.
Had beat them.
We have only had 2 one-possession games over the last 10 years in the national championship. But the last time Auburn lost in the national semifinals, the game went to overtime. Virginia Tech, not going to be surprised at all if we get that type of a game tonight.
I mean, with the start we had Saturday, we were talking about what's the best Final Four of all time. If you get a good game tonight, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, you had 2 games basically go down to the last minute, one of them an epic meltdown / comeback. Get a good game tonight. This may be the best Final Four we've ever seen.
We'll talk about it tomorrow on the show and then flip the switch to football. The last week of spring for Alabama and Auburn this week. All that coming up. The next round. Back with you tomorrow. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.